Chapter 687. Chapter 687, spoiling a good thing. As long as she didn't cross the line, she wouldn't care about her, right? From Tang Yun's point of view, her current love rival was Mississippi. As for Wang Lin, she didn't seem to be a love rival at all. Wang Lin prepared the medicine for a few rooms and personally delivered it over. She returned to the nurse's office and spoke to Kong Xiaobo and the others. "I'm done, we can bring Xiaofan to the follow-up." "All right, shall we go now?" Kong Xiaobo stood up. "No need, I'll bring Xiaofan there, you don't need to follow." Wang Lin didn't want Kong Xiaobo to follow. Xiaofan's mental illness was caused by another man, and the doctor might ask some sensitive questions during the follow-up. It would be awkward if Kong Xiaobo heard it, so Wang Lin decided not to bring Kong Xiaobo. That's fine, I'll have to trouble you then." Kong Xiaobo wasn't stupid. He could guess the situation from Wang Lin's expression, so he didn't insist. Xiaofan was grateful for Wang Lin's understanding. She actually didn't want Kong Xiaobo to follow because the doctor wanted to understand the whole situation. Sometimes, the questions would be awkward. They would even ask how many times she slept with Kong Mingming. It wasn't something that Kong Xiaobo should hear. Tang Yun could feel Wang Lin's understanding. It was hard for a girl like her to not attract boys, but what could she do? She couldn't ask Lin Yi not to meet her, could she? Tang Yun was conflicted. She finally fell in love with him, but why was it so bumpy? She thought that with her looks, it wouldn't be hard to find a boy who would treat her well wholeheartedly. She was satisfied that he treated her well, but the girls around him were all better than her. Some of them were even better than her. She didn't know how to deal with this at all. She had no experience at all. Tang Yun sighed softly as she watched Wang Lin leave. Why was she so unlucky? Her competitors were so strong, how could she feel at ease? Xinwen patted Tang Yun's shoulder, noticing her disappointment. "What's wrong? You're conflicted again? When did I?" How could Tang Yun admit it? How could she show weakness in front of her good friend? "You're still denying it? Ever since I saw Wang Lin, I felt like something's wrong with you." Xinwen understood Tang Yun quite well. "Speaking of which, Yun, how far have you and Lin Yi progressed? Tell me the truth. How far can it go? We're just high school students, okay? At most, we'll hold hands, right?" Tang Yin was a little shy, but she attributed the lack of progress between her and Lin Yi to the fact that she was still in school. "High school? They've had sex since middle school, right? Are you okay, Yun? Have you ever gone online before? A few days ago at Fatty Lai's house, you were talking so much, but it was all a lie." Xinwen was a little disappointed. "Aren't they lying too? I don't believe that they dare to play 3P with Lin Yi." Tang Yin felt wronged. If it weren't for Meng Yao and Yushu, she wouldn't have said so many shameless things. "I'm not sure about Meng Yao, but that Yushu, it's possible. She looks like she's eager to try." Xinwen was a good judge of character. "I'm telling you, Yunyan, you have to keep a close eye on Lin Yi, or you won't be able to find a place to cry." "How can I stop him if he wants to be with someone else?" Tang Yin shook her head. She was full of uncertainty about the future. I really don't know what to say. With your personality, you'll suffer sooner or later. You won't even know when they sleep with Lin Yi," Xinwen said helplessly. She was disappointed that Tang Yin didn't meet her expectations. "What can I do if he wants to sleep with them?" Tang Yin seemed to be asking Xinwen, but it also seemed like she was asking herself. But after asking, Tang Yin shook her head. She didn't want to think about it anymore. These things were too troublesome. Kong Xiaobo couldn't interrupt their conversation. He could only sit on the side and pretend he didn't hear anything. This was School Beauty Tang after all. Xiaobo had never thought that School Beauty Tang would be so worried about a man. His boss was too amazing. Zhu Xiaozhang helped Kong Mingming register downstairs and rushed to the clinic. Wang Shubing and Kong Mingming were already waiting there. There were many people registering at this hospital, but Zhu Xiaozhang was amazing. He directly cut the queue. When people criticized him, he was arrogant enough to hit them. This made the people who criticized him shut up. After all, Zhu Xiaozhang was fat, big and tall. Who would want to mess with him? If he wanted to cut the queue, then so be it. Zhu Xiaozhang didn't feel ashamed at all. Instead, he felt proud. He felt that this was the only way he could live up to his nickname of arrogant bro. Kong Ming went to see the doctor. His illness was simple. It was a common cold caused by a cold. The doctor prescribed him medicine, but Kong Ming insisted on staying in the hospital. Actually, he didn't have to stay in the hospital due to his illness, but the doctor saw that his fever was very serious and he insisted on staying in the hospital, so he gave him 3 days of hospitalization. Kong Xiaoming looked very rich anyways, so the doctor didn't plan on saving money for him. Kong Ming took the doctor's order and happily went to find Wang Lin for an injection. This caused Kong Ming a lot of trouble. In fact, he could go to any general surgery nurse's duty room and treatment room with the doctor's order. But he was here for Wang Lin, so naturally he wanted to find her. Master Ming, you have to hold on. We're almost at Wang Lin's floor. Hold on a little longer. Wang Shubing saw that Kong Ming's legs were weak from the fever. He couldn't even walk properly, so he quickly cheered him on. Okay, I'll hold on. Kong Xiaoming gritted his teeth and insisted on going upstairs. Just as he was about to reach Wang Lin's nurse's room, he saw Wang Lin and another girl walking out from the nurse's room. The girl beside Wang Lin, however, made Kong Xiaoming freeze. He subconsciously stopped in his tracks. Master Ming, isn't that Xiaofun? How come she's with Wang Lin? Zhu Xiaozhang also saw Xiaofun and Wang Lin walk out together. He was a bit confused. Yeah, how does she know Wang Lin? Wang Shubing was also puzzled. Damn, I remember now. Kong Xiaobo seemed to know Guan Xueming last time. Then it's not strange that Xiaofun knows Guan Xueming's granddaughter. Kong Ming's mind finally worked, but he guessed wrong. Xiaofun and Guan Lin didn't know each other through Guan Xueming. Makes sense. Zhu Xiaozhang nodded, but this is troublesome. Should we go or not? Chapter 688. A ticking time bomb. Master Ming, I don't think it's a problem if we go or not. It's already very troublesome. Wang Shubing shook his head and said seriously, Guan Lin and Xiaofun know each other. This isn't easy. What do you mean? Even if she knows Guan Lin, she can't be with Guan Lin all the time. Can't she just avoid her? Kong Ming asked curiously. You can't just avoid her. Master Ming, think about it. What if Xiaofun spouts nonsense and tells her about what happened between you two? Do you think Guan Lin's impression of you would be good? What chance do you have? Wang Shubing was indeed a schemer. He considered the problem from all angles. Kong Xiaoming frowned at Wang Shubin's words. He wasn't wrong. Xiaofun was like a ticking time bomb by Guan Lin's side. Who knew when it would explode with a bang and blow him up into a bloody mess? If that's the case, then this Xiaofun is indeed a big problem. Kong Ming hated Xiaofun. Why was this bitch so good at causing trouble? Ever since he met her again, things haven't been going well for the Kong family. Now that he was pursuing Guan Lin, he couldn't let Xiaofun ruin it. Thinking about this, Kong Ming's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness. Should we find a chance to kill her? Kong Xiaoming may look like a playful young master on the surface, but he was a bad person at heart. He had done many things like murder and arson without batting an eyelid. When he was in middle school, he dared to plot to kill Xiaofun. Now he was even worse. I think it's a good idea. She's lucky that we didn't kill her last time. Now she's not staying at home and acting like a mental patient. I think she's looking for death. Zhu Xiaozhang was also a ruthless person. He immediately agreed with Kong Ming's suggestion. I think we should forget about it. Wang Shubing hesitated. Killing her isn't a good idea. Wang Shubing, when did you become such a coward? Weren't you the one who found the car when we planned to kill Xiaofun? Zhu Xiaozhang looked at Wang Shubing strangely. Don't tell me you're getting more and more convoluted? Little Zhang, listen to what Wang Shubing has to say. Kong Ming still cared about Wang Shubin's suggestion. After all, Wang Shubin's brain wasn't bad. He must have his reasons for saying this. Young Master Ming, Kong Xiaobo's friend, Lin Yi, is a fucking lunatic, a complete violent maniac. Wang Shubin was a little scared. We all know that Tang Yun was injured by Zhao Qibing, right? On the day of Zhao Qibing's completion ceremony, Lin Yi demolished the skyscraper and broke Zhao Qibing's leg. Damn it, we'd better not provoke this kind of person. But Xiaofun isn't Tang Yun. How can Lin Yi handle this? Zhu Xiaozhang was a little scared, but he still tried to defend himself. Xiaofun is Kong Xiaobo's girlfriend now. If we kill her and it gets exposed, Kong Xiaobo will ask Lin Yi for revenge. It's better to be safe than sorry. If Lin Yi comes, we'll all be dead. Wang Shubing shook his head. That makes sense. Although Kong Mingming was a bad person, he was afraid of death. When he heard that Lin Yi might come for revenge, he immediately gave up on the idea of killing Xiaofun. It was better not to provoke this kind of violent maniac. How did Lin Yi survive until now? Zhao Qibing seemed to have a lot of power. Why didn't he go after Lin Yi? That's why, young Master Ming, we need to discuss our strategy carefully. How can we solve this problem once and for all? Wang Shubing said. Then what should I do now? Kong Mingming suddenly thought of a very serious problem. When he saw Xiaofun, he almost forgot that he had a cold. We can only find another nurse now. Guan Exin is out of the question. Wang Shubing said helplessly. Damn, I caught a cold for nothing? Kong Xiaoming almost fainted on the spot. He had endured so much pain and almost died. It was only with great difficulty that he managed to catch a cold, but now he couldn't get Guan Exin to give him an injection. Young Master Ming, you have to think about it this way. If Xiaofun came when we were looking for Guan Exin, wouldn't we be exposed? Wang Shubing comforted, if that happens, we'll still be able to benefit from a disaster. Now that you put it that way, is it? Kong Mingming thought about it carefully. It was true. He should be happy. If Guan Exin hadn't rejected him and had given him the shot, wouldn't he have been exposed in a heartbeat? Thinking about this, Kong Mingming was happy again. It seemed like God was supporting him in pursuing Xiaofun. With Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhang accompanying him, Kong Mingming came to a general surgery treatment room. He gave the doctor's advice to a young and beautiful nurse. Kong Mingming thought that even if he didn't have Guan Exin to give him the injection, it would be good to find a beautiful girl. Big eyes, an oval face, and skin that glowed like a spirit. Kong Mingming drooled when he saw her. It was a uniform temptation. Such a beautiful girl, it would be a waste for her to be a nurse here. Kong Xiaoming's mind started to move. He had flirted with a lot of girls in the past few years, but there weren't many of the best quality ones. Xiaofun was one of the top quality ones. If it wasn't for the fact that she was too infatuated with him and wanted to marry him, Kong Xiaoming wouldn't have dumped her so quickly. However, in Kong Mingming's eyes, the nurse in front of him was of the highest quality. She was much better than Xiaofun. Although she wasn't that tall, she was just right. The key was her figure. Even the white gown couldn't hide her exquisite figure. Kong Mingming's LSD was acting up again. However, when he thought about how his main task was to flirt with Guan Exin, Kong Mingming became discouraged again. He could only give up on this beautiful nurse. However, Guan Exin was also of the highest quality, so it wasn't too bad. Just as Kong Mingming passed the doctor's advice to the nurse, she turned around and passed it to a tall and sturdy woman. Nurse Wang, there's a patient. Okay. The sturdy woman called Nurse Wang took the doctor's advice and looked at Kong Mingming. It's a cold. First do an allergy test, then give it a muscle injection. If there's nothing else, you can start the drip. But you're going to give it to me? Kong Mingming saw that the sturdy woman was about to give him the injection. He was a bit anxious. He was looking for a beautiful nurse. Why was it a sturdy woman? Chapter 689. Not dead yet. I want her to do it for me. Kong Mingming pointed at the beautiful nurse and said, Oh, then let her do it for you. The woman put down her work and walked out of the treatment room. Seeing Kong Mingming's lecherous look, she was annoyed. Did this guy come to the hospital for treatment or to look at beauties? What the hell? How dare he let someone else do it? I hope it won't kill you. Kong Mingming saw that the nurse agreed and was overjoyed. He said to the beautiful nurse, Why don't you do it for me? It's my first day here, I can't do it. The beautiful nurse waved her hands, but seeing Kong Mingming's pleading eyes, she said, Why don't I try? If it can't go in, I can do it a few more times. Huh. Kong Mingming was hoping that the nurse would do it for him, but when he heard what the nurse said, his heart went cold. First day here? Trying to prick it? What kind of joke was this? He was not a test subject, what if he died? What's wrong? The beautiful nurse looked at Kong Ming Ming strangely. No. Nothing, I'll go and find Nurse Wang. Although Kong Ming Ming was a bit lascivious, he would never joke around with his life for a girl. But, Nurse Wang went to the inpatient department, she won't be back for a while. The beautiful nurse looked at Kong Ming Ming with a troubled expression. Why don't I try it for you? Is that all right? My technique is still very good, and I've practiced on dead people before. No need. Kong Ming Ming was shocked. What the hell, you've practiced on dead people before? If I let you do it, I'll probably become a dead person too. This beautiful nurse looked very beautiful, with big eyes and big breasts, but she was a tiger. Was she not afraid of stabbing people to death? How could she give injections a try? Kong Ming Ming didn't want to be killed, so he quickly stood up and forced a smile. There's no need. Is there another treatment room nearby? There is. Turn left and take the elevator. It's on the second floor underground. The beautiful nurse thought for a moment and said, but it's a little far. You look like you're going to faint. Shall I give you an injection? There's no need. I'm very awake. I won't faint for a while. Kong Ming Ming waved his hand and left the nurse's treatment room with Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong. They ran in the direction of the elevator, cursing as they ran. What kind of *T hospital was this? The intern nurses were too immoral. How dare they use patients for experiments? Young Master Ming, can you do it? Should we rest for a bit? Wang Shubing saw that Kong Ming Ming's head was heavy, so he quickly asked. I'm fine. Let's go get the injection. If I knew this would happen, I would have asked that tough lady to do it for me. I'm so fucking unlucky. Kong Ming Ming thought that he was unlucky every time he met Xiaofun. It seemed like it was true. The three of them entered the elevator. The lady in charge of the elevator looked at Kong Ming Ming and asked, which floor do we go to? This is the staircase downstairs. Let's go downstairs too, to the second floor underground. Wang Shubing said to the lady. In his heart, he thought, what kind of plan is this hospital? The treatment rooms aren't all together. They're all over the place, and this one is in the basement. The lady looked at the three of them strangely, but she still pressed the button for the second floor underground. When the elevator reached the first floor, everyone on the elevator went down. Only Kong Ming Ming and the other two were left. Kong Ming Ming felt strange. Why didn't anyone go to the basement? When the elevator reached the second floor underground, the elevator door opened. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong helped Kong Ming Ming out of the elevator. They couldn't help but feel a wave of cold air hit them in the face. The three of them couldn't help but shiver. What entered their nostrils was the smell of decay and medicine. The light in the corridor was very dim. Fuck, what the hell is this place? How come there's no one here? Kong Ming Ming couldn't help but curse. Wang Shubing also felt strange. When he raised his head, he was shocked. He subconsciously took 2 steps back. He was still supporting Kong Ming Ming. When he stepped back, Kong Ming Ming couldn't help but stumble. Kong Ming Ming couldn't help but curse. What are you doing? Do you want to kill me? Master Ming here too? Zhu Xiaozhong raised his head and also noticed something was wrong. Only Kong Ming Ming couldn't lift his head. What's wrong? If you have something to say, spit it out. Kong Ming Ming said impatiently, hurry up and look. Where can I get an injection? Master Ming, you can't get an injection here. Zhu Xiaozhong said. Can't get an injection? Kong Ming Ming was stunned. What do you mean? This is the place to give injections to the dead. Zhu Xiaozhong pointed in front of them and said in a panic, Master Ming, this is the morgue. What? Kong Ming Ming heard Zhu Xiaozhong's words and suddenly jumped. He raised his head and looked. Wasn't that right? The words morgue were written in big letters. Under the dim light of the corridor, it looked especially eerie. Gotcha. Just as the three of them were panicking, a sound came from the door of the morgue. Run! Kong Ming Ming also forgot that he was a patient. He didn't know where he got the strength to turn around and rush out of the elevator. He madly pressed the elevator button, but the elevator had already gone up more than 10 floors. It would take a while for the elevator to descend. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong were also nervous. Although they reminded themselves in their hearts, how could there be a ghost in broad daylight? However, the atmosphere here was indeed eerie. It made their hearts beat faster for no reason. The door of the morgue slowly opened, and a morgue cart slowly slid out from the small door of the morgue. Kong Ming heard the sound and turned around. He suddenly fainted. His body was already weak, and with the addition of fright, how could he stand it? On the other hand, Wang Shubing and Zhu Shaozhong, although scared, were relieved when they saw what was behind the morgue cart. A little old man was pushing the mortuary cart towards the elevator. The lights were dim, and the old man was short. Naturally, people would think that the mortuary cart was moving on its own. The old man also saw Wang Shubing and Zhu Shaozhong, but when he saw Kong Ming on the ground, he immediately asked, "Another one died? Why did you guys send him here yourself? Where's the doctor?" Chapter 690. Change your name, okay? Wrong direction? The old man shook his head and ignored the three of them. He continued to wait for the elevator. Kong Xiaoming fainted on the spot. He didn't know what fear was, but Zhu Shaozhong and Wang Shubin were scared out of their wits. They were standing next to a corpse. How could they not be scared? After Kong Ming and the other two left, the beautiful nurse took out 3 big wallets from her white coat and opened them. She couldn't help but smile instantly, and her eyes curved into the shape of a crescent moon. "I didn't expect these 3 perverts to be so rich. This is what you get for being lecherous. I'll send you to the morgue." The beautiful nurse quickly took out the money from the wallet and put it in her pocket. Then she threw the 3 wallets out of the window. After a while, Nurse Wang came back with a swaddle in her hand. Seeing that Kong Ming and the other 2 people were gone, she asked curiously, "Where are they?" Nurse Wang saw that Kong Ming was a little unreliable, so she wanted to teach him a lesson. Anyway, he wouldn't die from a cold, so she deliberately went out to do other things. She planned to give them an injection when she came back, but when she came back, she found that Kong Ming was gone. Maybe he couldn't wait and went to another place to get an injection? The beautiful nurse pretended not to know. She skipped over and took the swaddle from Nurse Wang's hands. She looked at it and said, "Wow, it's a cute princess." Yeah, these parents are really cruel. They just left him in the hospital. The parents also left a fake name. The police can't find any information. Nurse Wang sighed. "It's all thanks to your orphanage. Otherwise, I don't know what to do with the abandoned babies in the hospital. They value men more than women." The baby girl in the beautiful nurse's hands seemed to be able to understand words. Hearing that her parents didn't want her, she couldn't help but cry. The beautiful nurse hurriedly coaxed the child. Don't cry, little baby. Big sister Xiaoku will take you to your new home. There are many big brothers and sisters, little darling. Big sister Xiaoku will buy milk powder for you later." The beautiful nurse's voice was very pleasant, as if she was born to coax these children. When the baby girl heard the beautiful nurse's words, she stopped crying. The beautiful nurse shook her eyebrows for a while, and the baby girl fell into a deep sleep. "Xiaoku, head nurse's son from the obstetrics and gynecology department, is on leave today, so you don't have to look for her. Why don't you just take the child home? The procedures are here. I've already done it for you." Nurse Wang handed a folder to the beautiful nurse. "Thank you, Nurse Wang. Then I'll go first?" The beautiful nurse took the child's file and thanked him with a smile. "What are you thanking me for? Our hospital has to thank you. Otherwise, we don't know what to do with these children." Nurse Wang waved her hand. "And then I'll go first." The beautiful nurse took off her white coat and returned it to Nurse Wang. "Here, the air conditioning in this room is quite cold. I'm used to a house without air conditioning, so I'm really not used to it." Nurse Wang shook her head, took the white coat, and sent the beautiful nurse away. Lin Yi left the hospital, stopped a taxi, and went back to the villa first. There was nothing to do in the hospital. Miss probably didn't want to see him now. After all, the situation before was too embarrassing. Lin Yi was a little regretful. It would have been better to find a random male student to force the poison out. However, he didn't have full confidence that he could concoct the antidote for the poison. He couldn't take the risk. If he had to choose again, he would still save Miss first. As for whether the others could be cured or not, it really didn't have much to do with Lin Yi. Deadly 7 herbs poison, a poison that had been lost in history, actually appeared here. Although Lin Yi didn't say anything when he was in the hospital, He had to report this news to the old man as soon as possible. There was still someone who knew about this poison? Which faction sent him here? This incident was obviously not random. It was premeditated. Was it targeted at Chu Pingzhan or Meng Yao? Lin Yi didn't know about these. He had to ask Ling Shan to know the details. He could call Ling Shan in the car, but calling the old man was a bit secretive. Lin Yi had to go home first. Miss Braindead, is there any result on the poisoning? Lin Yi called Ling Shan. Ling Shan was so angry that she clenched her teeth. Why did he call her Miss Braindead again? She thought he stopped calling her that. This title doesn't sound good, okay? Although Ling Shan tried very hard to treat it as a nickname or pet name that Lin Yi called her, she couldn't do it. Lin and Lin Yi were already like this. Can you not call me Miss Braindead in the future? Ling Shan wanted to protest, but she had to think of a countermeasure. Protesting directly to Lin Yi obviously wouldn't work, but Ling Shan knew that Lin Yi's weakness was soft-heartedness. If she said it nicely, it might work. Okay, then what should I call you? Tigress? Lin Yi asked. You can call her Lil, Song Girl, or Cute Girl, that's fine too. Tigress Girl sounds too bad. Ling Shan realized that Lin Yi was more interested in the XX Girl combination and didn't dare change it too much. She suggested 2 nicknames that she could accept. Oh, then I'll call you Little Dumb Girl. Lin Yi didn't take Ling Shan's answer. Okay. Ling Shan gritted her teeth. Little Dumb Girl it is, at least it sounded better than Miss Braindead, right? Although the meaning was similar, it didn't sound as insulting. Things had to be done step by step, didn't they? Rome wasn't built in a day. Ling Shan felt that if she worked hard, she could definitely become Cute Girl or something. Ling Shan couldn't help but feel disgusted by her own thoughts. Was she a bitch? Satisfied just like that? And she was hoping that Lin Yi would call her Cute Girl? If this matter were to spread out, how could anyone live? But, other than being a little angry, Ling Shan didn't feel any repulsion at all. Little Dumb Girl, is there any result for the poisoning? Linist. Chapter 691. Chapter 691. The Hidden Family. However, Ling Shan didn't know that Lin Yi was the one who discovered the poison, and Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was just a spokesperson. Zhong Pingliang? Lin Yi paused. How did this have anything to do with Zhong Pingliang? This kid had lost his kidney, and he still came out to poison people? Yes, but Zhong Pingliang is also a victim. We decided to exempt him from punishment. Of course, I don't agree with it personally, but I can't decide the final result, Ling Shan said faintly. She didn't have a good impression of Fabai and his son, but I heard that there are people protecting Zhong Pingliang from above. I think he's been hanging out with Zhao Qibing recently. I understand. Lin Yi finally understood who was the mastermind behind this. If there were no accidents, it should be Zhao Qibing, and other than Uncle Zhu, there were other masters behind him. Is there anything else? I helped you, aren't you going to treat Miss Braindead for a meal? Ling Shan had gotten used to calling herself Miss Braindead in front of Lin Yi, and she almost said it out loud. What was wrong with her mouth? She wanted to be Miss Braindead? You got it wrong, right? Lin Yi realized that Ling Shan and the Miss were 2 different types of people. They'd both had their bodies seen, and they'd both seen embarrassing things, but Ling Shan had gotten a lot closer to him all of a sudden, while the Miss was a lot colder. Then I can treat you, Ling Shan said. Come to my house next Saturday? I don't have time, Lin Yi said faintly, rejecting her directly. Lin Yi felt that Miss Song was very pretty and very seductive. It would be nice to have something happen with her, right? But the consequences. He was already annoyed enough right now. If she got closer to him, he wouldn't be able to do anything else if she came looking for him. Oh, next time then. Ling Shan was a little disappointed. Lin Yi really didn't seem to be interested in her at all. Her seduction had failed. Lin Yi's guess was right. Ling Shan really did see Lin Yi as a sucker. She'd already seen it, and she'd gotten the short end of the stick. There was nothing she could do about it, so she might as well ask Lin Yi for help. Ling Shan wanted Lin Yi to solve all the cases in the police force, like the burglary group, the motorcycle gang, and so on. These organizations had been around for a long time, and it was hard to take them all out at once, but Ling Shan still had some hopes. His current momentum was very good. If he continued to develop like this, it would not be a dream to be promoted to bureau chief. How long had he been in office? He had solved so many big cases in a row. The current Lingshan was much more at ease than before. She thought that since she'd been seen by Lin Yi, she could be considered Lin Yi's girl, he'd help her solve the cases. What burden would she have? Lin Yi hung up the phone, feeling a bit of a headache. He'd saved Lingshan, and now this Miss Song had learned how to pester him endlessly. She was much smarter than before. After returning to the villa, Lin Yi called old Lin. There was no one in the villa, so Lin Yi didn't need to hide from anyone. Old man, someone used deadly 7 herbs poison here. Old Lin paused. After a while he asked, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure. I tasted it," Lin Yi said. "Could it be that those people came out again?" Old Lin said uncertainly. Lin Yi asked, "People from the hidden house." Old Lin said, "Hidden house? I've heard of the 4 big and 5 small noble houses, but I've never heard of any hidden house. What do they do?" Lin Yi paused. The 4 big and 5 small noble houses are just some noble houses that formed later in the common world. They can't be compared to the hidden houses at all. Old Lin said, "But I don't know much about the hidden houses. Your master knows more than me because he was one of the people involved back then. According to the agreement from more than 10 years ago, some ancient martial arts houses need to live in seclusion. Otherwise, their appearance will destroy a lot of the current order." "Oh? My master?" Lin Yi paused. He didn't expect his master to be related to the hidden houses. Among these hidden houses, there's a medical family, Yunan's House Yu. Although they're proficient in medicine, they're best at using it to harm people. They're also very good at goo. Old Lin said, but according to the agreement, House Yu doesn't allow their disciples to walk in the common world. They can only serve the big and hidden houses. "You're saying that this House Yu knows the recipe of deadly 7 herbs poison?" Lin Yi asked with a frown. "It's possible, but I'm not sure." Old Lin said, "You should pay attention to this matter first, but don't worry about it. With your current strength, you can't reach that level. They don't dare to violate the agreement from back then. Otherwise, your master wouldn't be able to ignore it." "Okay, I got it." Since Old Lin had said so, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't continue asking. Although his current strength was enough to roam the common world, he wouldn't be able to do anything to those hidden monsters. "Is there anything else?" "Oh right, I've already given the medicine you asked Air Gooden to get, but this kid is busy with spring plowing. He'll have to wait for a few days." Old Lin said. "This is not urgent." Lin Yi said, "Oh right, do you know about the Waniyankan box?" Lin Yi suddenly remembered the Waniyankan box he got at the auction, but he didn't know what it was used for. After coming back from the auction, he had been busy with all kinds of things. He also forgot about the box until now. Waniyankan box? I've heard of this before. There's an introduction in an ancient book at home. Old Lin thought about it and said, "Why do you ask?" "I think I have one with me." Lin Yi said, "What?" Old Lin was shocked. "You have it? How did you get it? You actually have something that can only appear in ancient books?" "I got it by chance at an auction." Lin Yi didn't expect Old Lin to have such a big reaction. Could it be that this Waniyankan box was really special? So he asked, "Old man, is this thing good?" "How can it not be good when it's mentioned in ancient books?" Old Lin asked back. "Oh, then this Waniyankan box, what is it used for?" Lin Yi's curiosity was also piqued, and he quickly asked. "I really don't know what it's used for." Old Lin changed the topic. "Huh." Lin Yi was stunned. He didn't expect Old Lin to answer like this. He couldn't help but be surprised. "You don't know?" Chapter 692. Chapter 692, Female Cat Burglar Yu Xiaoka. Lin Yi was speechless. "Then why are you so surprised? I thought it was something good." "It's natural to be surprised. How can I not be surprised if you can get something from an ancient book?" Old Lin rolled his eyes and retorted, "Also, how can something mentioned in the ancient book not be good? But even if it's good, the book didn't mention how to use it. It only mentioned that it's similar to a fresh-keeping container. It can keep medicine from going bad for 10,000 years. But it definitely has more than one function, it's just lost. This. Lin Yi rolled his eyes. Then you didn't say anything, I'll research it myself. Lin Yi hung up the phone, he didn't know what to say. Old Lin's words had no value at all. It made Lin Yi very distressed. It was like getting a high-level magical weapon in a game, but he didn't know how to use it. He was happy, but he couldn't open it. Fortunately, reality wasn't a game. He didn't need to worry about the space in his backpack. He could store some junk. Lin Yi put the Wanyankan box and the 2 pieces of the map into the drawer. Since they were useless now, Lin Yi could only see them as junk. After calling old Lin, Lin Yi called Tang Yun. Hello. Tang Yun was waiting for Fun in the nurse's room when her phone rang. Tang Yun looked at the caller ID and was instantly happy. Lin Yi, where are you? Is Meng Yao okay? Tang Yun didn't know why, but the first thing she asked was Meng Yao. Was she really worried about Meng Yao, or was she worried about whether Lin Yi and Meng Yao were together now? Tang Yun didn't know herself. She's fine now. Lin Yi didn't know how to explain it to Tang Yun. Although it was to save Meng Yao, it was still an awkward scene. I'm at home, she's still in the hospital. Oh! Tang Yun let out a sigh of relief. She was afraid that Meng Yao would use some unorthodox methods to compete with her. For example, she could ask Lin Yi to stay by her side while she was sick. She could say that she needed protection during her illness. Tang Yun didn't have any complaints about that. Where are you? Linist. I'm in the hospital with Xiao Fun. Guan Xan brought her there, Tang Yun said. I'll go look for you? Lin Yi didn't know if Tang Yun did it on purpose or not, but Lin Yi didn't know how to respond when Guan Xan was mentioned. That's fine too. Tang Yi nodded. My mom wanted to talk to you about buying a house. You can't stay in the hospital forever, can you? My dad's leg is almost healed. The doctor said that he only needs to rest at home. Okay, I'll go now. Lin Yi didn't have anything to do anyway. He hung up and left the villa. But he remembered that he'd left his car at the food street behind the school. He'd left with Zhang Wen's car in the afternoon, and he'd taken a taxi to get here. It was unnecessary to go to the school to get his car. Tang Yun already knew about his relationship with the Mississippi. Lin Yi drove Yushu's yellow Beetle. Lin Yi had just parked the car in the parking lot of the Songshan First People's Hospital when a middle-aged beggar with a cane came up to him. Young man, do me a favor and give me some money. As soon as the beggar came up, he began to talk incessantly. My leg was injured when I was working at the construction site. The black-hearted contractor didn't give me a single cent, so I can only rely on begging to save up for medical expenses. Do me a favor, I won't mind 100 or 2. 100 or 2 wasn't mind a favor. Lin Yi couldn't help but be amused. This beggar's appetite was too big. 100 or 2. Wasn't he afraid of biting his tongue? If he'd only asked for 8 or 10 kwai, Lin Yi might have just given him some change and sent him on his way, but this beggar was crossing the line. Naturally, Lin Yi was getting annoyed. He looked at the beggar faintly and said one word. Scram. But the beggar didn't leave. Instead, he blocked the front of Lin Yi's car and refused to leave. If you don't give me money, I'll keep sitting here. Don't leave today. I'm a disabled man, what's there to be afraid of? Don't come back if you can. Ta. Lin Yi laughed at the beggar's stubbornness. He took out the silver needle box from his pocket and opened it. He looked at the beggar and said faintly, Your leg is broken? It's just right. I'll help you cure it. As Lin Yi said this, he took out a silver needle and was about to stab the beggar. The beggar was shocked. He didn't expect Lin Yi to carry silver needles with him. He was a little timid. He looked at Lin Yi with hatred, turned around, and quickly left with his cane. Lin Yi sneered and put away the silver needle box. To deal with this kind of person, he naturally had to be more domineering than them. Lin Yi locked the car and was about to walk into the hospital, but he was stopped by a girl. Lin Yi frowned. The girl was pretty, with an oval face, big eyes, and arched eyebrows. She looked a bit like a girl from a romance novel, but her expression wasn't very pleasant. It was as if she was going to eat Lin Yi alive. Her eyebrows were filled with anger, as if he owed her a lot of money. Hey, why are you like this? Don't you have any sympathy? He's a disabled man, okay? Not only did you not pay, but you scared him away with a weapon? Xiaoka was angry, really angry. She hated rich and heartless people like Lin Yi the most. He drove such a good car, but he didn't have the slightest bit of sympathy. Not only did he not pay, he even threatened the beggar with a weapon? He was so wicked to a certain extent. With a weapon? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. He then remembered the silver needle in his hand. It seemed that this brave girl had misunderstood him. However, Lin Yi was too lazy to explain to her. He shook his head and turned to leave. Hey, I'm talking to you. Xiaoka was even more angry. She grabbed Lin Yi's clothes and didn't let him leave. The person in front of her not only didn't know how to repent, but also ignored her words. He looked like he didn't care. If she didn't teach him a lesson today, how could she face herself? This rich and heartless fat sheep. If she didn't make a move, then even the heavens would blame her. Say what? That beggar? Lin Yi frowned. If you pity him, then give him money. Chapter 693. I want to challenge you. Of course, I'll give him the money now. Xiaoka ignored Lin Yi and ran to the beggar. With her back facing Lin Yi, she took out a wallet and gave 100 yuan to the beggar. The beggar's eyes lit up as he thanked her. Xiaoka, on the other hand, left the hospital in a flash. I'm making money, I'm making money. I don't even know how to spend it. I'll buy a Nokia with my left hand, a Motorola with my right. Xiaoka sang happily as she counted the money in her wallet. 3,000 yuan for a beetle? It wasn't even as good as the 3 perverts she met at noon. But Xiaoka was still happy. She earned 3,000 yuan in a blink of an eye, especially after teaching that heartless rich young master a lesson. Bang! Xiaoka suddenly bumped into someone, scaring her. It was her fault for being too engrossed, counting money as she walked without looking at the road. Xiaoka said subconsciously, Sorry, I didn't see the road. I'll help you if you don't know how to spend it. Lin Yi blocked Xiaoka's path. Xiaoka froze and raised her head. She didn't expect it to be that rich young master from before. Why are you here? You're quite rich, aren't you? Lin Yi took out a lady's wallet and looked at the money in it. 10,000 yuan? Quite a lot, huh? Xiaoka was shocked when she saw the wallet in Lin Yi's hand. She subconsciously touched her pocket, but her face paled when she touched it. My wallet? Why is it here? Oh, I thought you wanted to use your big wallet to exchange for my small wallet. Lin Yi said faintly. No wonder you gave 100 yuan to a scammer. You had too much money to burn. You're lying. When did I give money to a scammer? Xiaoka glared at Lin. The beggar from before was a liar, Lin Yi said mockingly. His leg isn't lame at all. It's fine. He's healthier than you. Lin Yi was proficient in the art of medicine. Naturally, he could tell whether the beggar was really lame or not at first glance. When Lin Yi wanted to treat the beggar, not only did the beggar not stay, but he also ran away, which naturally explained the problem. What evidence do you have? Xiaoka frowned after hearing Lin Yi's words. She was not stupid. She often committed crimes in this area. She had seen the beggar more than once or twice, but she did not think much about it before. But today, after thinking about it carefully, the beggar had been begging here for at least half a year. The money he asked for was already enough to see a doctor. Why didn't he go to see a doctor but continued to beg? But Xiaoka didn't want to admit her mistakes, especially in front of Lin Yi. This scoundrel who stole my wallet. I'm too lazy to talk to you about this. Lin Yi snatched his wallet from Xiaoka's hand. With your skills, you still dare to come out to steal? Go back and train for a few years before coming out to embarrass yourself. She was a girl, so Lin Yi was too lazy to argue with her. As for her wallet, Lin Yi decided to confiscate it to teach her a lesson. Don't go. Xiaoka panicked. Not only did Lin Yi steal her earnings today, but he also humiliated her skills. Xiaoka had always thought of herself as the #1 thief, but Lin Yi didn't just steal her wallet. He even told her to go home and practice for a few more years. This was a blatant provocation. Xiaoka had always thought of herself as the #1 thief. Lin Yi naturally ignored her. He still needed to go to the hospital. How could he waste time with this female thief? I want to challenge you. As the 46th generation disciple of the Fian sect, how could Xiaoka let Lin Yi go? This guy dared to look down on a disciple of the Fian sect. How could Xiaoka tolerate it? She was only 18 years old. She was young and full of vigor. Naturally, she wouldn't admit defeat. Regarding the Fian sect, see Very Pure Very Ambiguous Prequel, also known as Rebirth Chasing Beauty. Challenge? Challenge what? Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka. He felt that this girl was a little crazy. This thief was too much. She didn't want to escape after he saw her. Instead, she wanted to challenge him. If she met the police, she'd be in jail already. Of course, it's the art of stealing. Xiaoka puffed out her chest and stared at her big wallet in Lin Yi's hand. If it's chest, I can consider it. But I'm sorry, I'm not interested in stealing. Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka's chest lecherously. It wasn't very big, but it was very firm. It seemed that she exercised a lot, so her chest muscles were quite developed. Xiaoka was going crazy. She had been in the business for so long, but she had never been robbed by someone. Today was the first time. This made her angry, but at the same time, she felt humiliated. She was the heir of the Fian sect. The Fian sect was the #1 thief sect in the world. How could she lose to someone else? Plus, Xiaoka didn't think that it was because she wasn't as skilled as Lin Yi, but because she was too excited when counting the money and bumped into Lin Yi, giving him the chance to steal her wallet. In fact, Lin Yi had already stolen her wallet when she stole it. It was just that she didn't feel it. Lin Yi ignored her and turned to leave. Lin Yi felt that there was something wrong with this girl's head. With this kind of mentality, she still came out to be a thief and challenged others. Seeing that Lin Yi was ignoring her, Xiaoka gritted her teeth in anger, but there was nothing she could do. This was the first time Xiaoka encountered something like this, and she didn't know what to do. Seeing that Lin Yi was leaving, she followed him. Even if Lin Yi didn't want to compete with her, she still had to get her wallet back. That was the biggest reward of the month. How could she let it be taken away so easily? Xiaoka wasn't willing. Lin Yi didn't think that Xiaoka would follow him. This made Lin Yi not know whether to laugh or cry. At the same time, he felt that Xiaoka really wasn't suited to be a thief. To be a thief to this extent, she was really stupid. If he went to the police station, would she follow him? Xiaoka followed Lin. She was confident in her qinggong. The Fian sect was famous for their qinggong. Although she wasn't very skilled, she wasn't slow. From her point of view, following Lin Yi was a piece of cake. She was looking for a suitable opportunity to steal all of Lin Yi's wallet. However, at the corner of a street, Xiaoka froze. Because Lin Yi was gone. Chapter 694. I'm so pissed. You're looking for me? Lin Yi's voice came from behind Xiaoka. Xiaoka jumped in fright and shivered, her scalp tingling. How did this person appear behind her without a sound? Why are you behind me? Xiaoka turned around and looked at Lin Yi cautiously. Was this person a ghost? Didn't you ask me? Do. Xiaoka glared at Lin Yi, not knowing what to say. You want to learn how to stalk with that level of skill? Go home and rest. This world is actually very dangerous. It's unbelievable that someone like you could survive until now. Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka sympathetically. He was a decent person. If it was someone else, Xiaoka wouldn't even be able to find a place to cry. You're the unbelievable one. Xiaoka looked at Lin Yi angrily. Hey, are you in the same trade? Xiaoka felt that Lin Yi might be in the same trade. Otherwise, how could he be so good at stealing and be so elusive? Maybe you can be in the same trade if you practice for a few more years. Lin Yi smiled. Since you're so good, then accept my challenge. Xiaoka tried to provoke him. Hey, are you afraid of losing? That's why you don't dare to accept my challenge? Whatever you think. Lin Yi shrugged. Don't follow me, you can't keep up with me. Xiaoka really didn't know what to do. Facing someone like Lin Yi who wouldn't budge, what could she do? She gritted her teeth, unwilling to give up. Then can you give me back my wallet? Oh, I'll give it to you. I don't have much use for it anyway. Lin Yi agreed readily. Xiaoka was overjoyed. She was about to thank him when she saw her wallet flying towards her. She quickly caught it. But when he took a look, he was dumbfounded because his wallet was empty. There was not a dime left of his 10,000 yuan. Hey, where's my money? Xiaoka felt like she was being played. You only asked for your wallet, not your money? Lin Yi smiled and quickly left. Remember my words. Go back and train for a few years before coming out. Otherwise, you'll be finished sooner or later. Also, it's hard for me to understand. Are you really compassionate, or are you trying to steal my wallet by accusing me? I don't like the way you do things. I'm so mad. How infuriating. Xiaoka looked at Lin Yi's back and stomped her feet as if she wanted to crush Lin Yi. I'll stomp you to death, I'll stomp you to death. That's what you get for acting tough in front of me, that's what you get for looking down on me, that's what you get for. My leg. Xiaoka stepped on a stone and almost fractured her foot. Lin Yi turned a corner and returned to the hospital. The beggar was still begging there. When he saw Lin Yi, his eyes avoided eye contact. However, Lin Yi didn't want to do anything to the beggar. Whether he was lying or not had nothing to do with him. In the nurse's room upstairs, Lin Yi saw Tang Yun. Xiaofan and Guan Xian had just returned from the consultation. Guan Xian saw Lin Yi and blushed. She wanted to say something, but she held it back when she saw Tang Yun. On the other hand, Lin Yi took the initiative to greet Guan Xian. Xian, how's Xiaofan's illness? Actually, Lin Yi could see that Xiaofan's spirit was much better. Her illness came from her heart. Now that the knot in her heart was untied, it wasn't a big problem anymore. It was just that the side effects from before still needed to be controlled with medication. It's nothing. The doctor said that if the illness doesn't act up again, you don't need to come to the hospital anymore. Guan Xian shook her head. Sorry to trouble you. Lin Yi nodded. I saw Grandpa Guan today, but it was a bit rushed. I'll visit another day. Guan Xian nodded. She wanted to say that she wanted to cook for Lin Yi, but Tang Yun was also there. She didn't want to say it directly. She was afraid that Tang Yun would misunderstand. She hesitated and said, Tang Yun, why don't you come as well? I'll cook for you guys? I won't be going. I've been quite busy recently. I don't know what to do now that my house is gone. Tang Yun was a bit embarrassed to go. It seemed like she didn't trust Lin Yi. Wouldn't that make her look petty? Tang Yun replied to Guan Xian's invitation, but I've troubled you a lot with Xiaofan and my father. I should treat you. When my house is settled, I'll cook for you. Sure. Guan Xian agreed with a smile. As they were talking, someone called Guan Xian at the door. Guan Xian went to work, while Lin Yi and Tang Yun went to Tang Juqing's ward. Kong Xiaobo, Xiaofan, and Lu Xingwen left first. They knew that Tang Yun's family was looking for Lin Yi to discuss about the house. It wasn't appropriate for them to participate. Uncle Tang, how do you feel? Lin Yi saw that Tang Juqing could walk with the help of the crutches. His recovery was quite fast. Not bad. He's much stronger than the last time. Your Chinese medicine is very effective. Even the doctors in the hospital were surprised. Tang Juqing smiled, but they asked me for the Chinese medicine prescription. I didn't give it to them. I said that I bought it with money and I don't have the prescription. Lin Yi nodded. It seemed that Tang Juqing wasn't a stubborn person. He was quite smart. He knew that the prescription was very valuable and couldn't be given away easily. This kind of medicine that could accelerate bone growth could be mass-produced. The economic benefits wouldn't be small. Don't give them the prescription. If anyone asks, just tell them that Professor Guan made it for you. They won't ask any more. Lin Yi found a shield for Tang Juqing. In the medical system, Guan Xuemin's prestige was irreplaceable, right, Uncle Tang, Auntie Wang? I heard from Tang Yun that you were looking for me? Yeah, I was thinking about looking for you to see if we could buy a house. It's not good for us to stay in the hospital. The hospital fees are more expensive than a hotel. It's not worth it. Although Mrs. Tang didn't pay for it, she still felt bad. Wouldn't it be better if Lin Yi gave it to her? That's true. The hospital isn't as good as our home. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't think about it before. Lin Yi didn't have a place to live. He was used to this kind of wandering life. However, Tang Yun's family was different. They were ordinary people. They didn't feel comfortable without a home. Chapter 695. Special Offer Room. What about the demolition at Shantytown? Is there any movement? Lin Yi didn't pay attention to Master Bing's movements these few days. He only heard that he was rebuilding Qibing's skyscraper again. This time, he found a very efficient construction company, and the framework was already up. Of course, although Lin Yi destroyed his house and broke his leg, his business still had to continue. The slums still had to be demolished, but Lin Yi didn't know if he learned his lesson. They said that they're going to have a meeting with everyone to discuss the compensation. After what happened last time, they'll probably increase the price a little, but it won't be too high. Mrs. Tang sighed. Our house is gone, we'll just have to compensate as much as we can. I don't want to think about that anymore. Now that I think about it, should I rent a house or buy one? Lin Yi couldn't interfere with the compensation. He couldn't go to Zhao Qibing again and force him to compensate Mrs. Tang, could he? He destroyed one of his skyscrapers, so they were barely even. He would let him go for now. If Zhao Qibing knew what Lin Yi was thinking, he'd probably vomit blood in anger. A skyscraper for a broken house, and it was barely enough? Wasn't this too much of a scam? Let's buy one. Renting isn't a solution. Lin Yi thought that buying a house was better than renting one. Buy a house. Mrs. Tang's heart ached. Tang Juqing and Tang Yun also wanted to buy a house. Now that they had the 500,000 from Lin Yi and some money from before, it was more than enough to buy a big house. But Mrs. Tang didn't want to spend all the money in one go. If that happened, the family would have no savings, and the feeling of being rich would be gone again. How could Lin Yi not know what Mrs. Tang was thinking when he saw her pained expression? He smiled faintly. Aunt Wang, I know a friend. He used to be in the real estate business, so he should know a lot of developers. I'll give him a call and see if there are any special offer rooms. Alright, that's great. Can you help me ask? Mrs. Tang's greedy personality had not changed at all. When she heard that Lin Yi could get a special price house, she immediately perked up. Actually, even if Lin Yi couldn't get a special price house, Mrs. Tang would still agree to buy a house under Tang Juqing and Tang Yun's insistence. But now that Lin Yi could use his connections to save some money, why not? Mrs. Tang was very happy that she wanted to talk to Lin Yi instead of foolishly running off to buy a house. Wouldn't that be a huge loss? Lin Yi gave Fatty Lai a call. Fatty Lai was in a state of extreme excitement. The press conference was very successful, and he believed that there wouldn't be any more advertisements before the products hit the market. With all these media reports, it would be hard for Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company not to be famous. After all, the fainting incident in the first high school was heavily hyped up by Direwolf. The number of comments on the internet was calculated in units of hundreds of millions. All the netizens in the country were paying attention to this matter. Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company solved the fainting incident at the most crucial moment and formulated the corresponding antidote. This kind of reaction speed was enough to make them look down on everyone. By then, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company's name would be spread all over the internet. Boss. Fatty Lai picked up the phone. I heard that your press conference was quite successful. Although Lin Yi didn't see it himself, he heard the taxi drivers talking about it on the way here. They said how amazing Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was. Even the hospital couldn't cure the disease, but they cured it. Heh, if it wasn't for Boss's powerful prescription, everything I did would be in vain. Fatty Lai's mind was still very clear. He didn't get complacent because of it. He understood that everything was because of Lin Yi's prescription and antidote. If it wasn't for these two, people would have to believe him no matter how much he boasted. Heh, you've done very well, Lin Yi praised him. Oh right, how's the preparation of the antidote? The raw materials have been purchased and it's already on the production line. Elder Guan is there to check, so there shouldn't be a problem, Fatty Lai said. And, let me ask you something. Do you know anyone who is selling houses? Linist. Selling houses? Why, boss, you want to buy a house? Fatty Lai was stunned and asked. It's Tang Yun's house. Didn't Zhao Qibing destroy the slums? I'm planning to buy a house now. Do you know any developers who are doing promotions or selling houses at special prices? Lin Yi's question was vague, but he believed that with Fatty Lai's intelligence, he would be able to understand Lin Yi's meaning. Indeed, Fatty Lai understood. From the moment he heard that Tang Yun's family wanted to buy a house, he understood Lin Yi's meaning. Fatty Lai used to be in the real estate business. He had a few buildings in Songshan, and some of them were unsold or kept for his own use. Lin Yi couldn't directly tell Tang Yun's family that he wanted to buy a house. With Tang Yun's personality, she would definitely reject it. Mrs. Tang would definitely stay and there would be some conflict between the mother and daughter. That was the case with the 500,000 yuan from before. Tang Yun always wanted to return it to Lin Yi, but Mrs. Tang wouldn't take it out. So Lin Yi thought of an idea. He wanted Fatty Lai to find an excuse to sell the house to Mrs. Tang at a low price. That way, Mrs. Tang would benefit from it and Tang Yun wouldn't suspect anything. Oh, there really is. Fatty Lai thought about it and said, "Just tell Auntie to contact me directly, I'll take care of it." Lin smiled. Fatty Lai's ability to understand was quite good. He smiled and said, "There is? All right, I'll tell Auntie Wang to contact you." Mrs. Tang looked at Lin eagerly. When she heard Lin Yi say there was, her eyes lit up and she almost laughed out loud. She didn't have much money on hand, so she wanted to save as much as possible. "Is there?" "Auntie Wang, my friend said that there really is a house with a special price promotion. You can contact him directly." Lin Yi smiled. "That's great. I'll go check it out tomorrow." Mrs. Tang was also in a hurry to move. She couldn't find a suitable house before, but it was actually a cheap house. Nowadays, housing prices weren't cheap. If she could get a special price house, it would be a great deal. Lin Yi told Mrs. Tang about Fatty Lai's contact. Tang Yun frowned slightly. She was a little suspicious. How could it be such a coincidence? Their family was just about to buy a house, and Lin Yi could find someone to buy a special price house? But she couldn't ask in front of her mother, so she could only keep her doubts in her heart. There were police guards at the door. Some people were happy, while others were sad. Chapter 696. Visiting Jiangwen, on the other hand, didn't think the same. He was so worried that his hair was turning white. There were policemen guarding the door, and it was impossible to call the tattooed guy or Zhong Pengliang. He didn't bring his phone with him, and he was afraid that the police would find out if he used the ward phone. The kidney trafficking organization that he worked so hard for was wiped out by the police just like that? Jiangwen was in a lot of pain, but that wasn't the most painful thing. The most painful thing was that one of his kidneys had been cut off, and if he wasn't mistaken, that kidney should be in Zhong Pengliang's body. Jiangwen didn't want to lose a kidney. He wanted to find Zhong Pengliang and get his kidney back, but he didn't dare to do so. Although a kidney was important, it was nothing compared to his life. If the police found out that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization, what awaited him wouldn't just be jail time. He might even be executed. And so, Jiangwen was stuck in a dilemma. All he could do was stay in the room, depressed. The police came to see him, and he had to pretend to be the victim, looking pitiful and pained. In truth, he was in pain, but he didn't expose himself. But he didn't hide his identity. Jiangwen wanted to make up a name, but it would be harder to explain if the police found out. He might as well tell them his real name. It would be safer. But what Jiangwen didn't expect was that two acquaintances came to visit him. Qin Yutian didn't expect Lingshan to call him. This made him excited, but at the same time he was surprised. Why was Lingshan calling him? Lingshan didn't expect that Lu Wangli's victim list would include Jiangwen, one of the famous Songshan Four Young Masters. Of course, Lingshan didn't have a good impression of a playboy like this at all. This was also why she didn't like Qin Yutian at all. He only knew how to use his family background to bully others and act cool outside. What was left after he left his family's power? Although Qin Yutian had changed a lot these few years, Lingshan still didn't have any feelings for him. Their relationship was only slightly better than before. They could be considered as normal friends. So since they were normal friends, Lingshan still needed to inform Qin Yutian when something happened to Jiangwen. Plus, as much as she hated Jiangwen was one of the more important people in the city, she had to pay him a visit. Lingshan called Yutian to visit Jiangwen at the hospital. No matter what, Yutian was very happy that Lingshan asked him out alone. However, Qin Yutian felt strange that Jiangwen had one of his kidneys cut off by a kidney trafficking organization. Especially when he was drinking yesterday, he was fine. But today, he was in the hospital. This made Qin Yutian feel miserable. Lingshan was cold the whole way, her face cool and emotionless. Yutian had a lot of things he wanted to say, but he didn't know where to start. He tried to say something that didn't hurt, but Lingshan just ignored him. Yu Tian could only smile bitterly. From the looks of it, he really didn't have a big chance. Lingshan's words, in particular, made Yu Tian give up completely. He felt that he had no hope in this life. I've broken through the middle phase of the golden class, into the late phase. What's your strength now? Lingshan thanked Lin Yi from the bottom of her heart. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, she wouldn't have been able to break through. What else could Yu Tian do other than smile bitterly? He had just broken through to the early phase of the golden class. He wasn't even at the peak of the early phase, let alone the middle phase. The difference between him and Lingshan was like heaven and earth. Chen Yu Tian, I hope you can face yourself. The difference between us is too big. We're not suitable. Lingshan knew what Yu Tian was thinking, but she didn't expect him to still be thinking about her after so many years. Not suitable. Yu Tian sighed. Lingshan wasn't giving him a chance at all. You think you can beat me? Lingshan raised her head and stared at Yu Tian. I told you before, I don't like men who are weaker than me. When have you ever been strong in front of me? Not even once. You're always this weak, asking if I have time or not, asking if I have a chance. Look at what you've done. If you really have the strength, why don't you show it to me? Chen Yu Tian sighed once more. Can I be strong? You're a late phase and I'm only an early phase. How am I supposed to be strong? Didn't you send me flying with one kick? Lingshan shook her head at Yu Tian's silence. Yu Tian was weaker than her, but he didn't have the heart to be strong. He didn't even dare think about it. Lingshan couldn't accept this kind of personality at all. Even if she did, she'd probably be laughed at when she brought him back to the songhouse. People who didn't know better would think that she'd found a man who married into her family. If it were Lin Yi, he'd probably explode already. If it were Lin Yi, would she dare ask him a stupid question like, can you beat me? It seemed like she didn't dare to. Lin Yi would definitely return the Miss Braindead nickname to her. Lingshan felt wronged in her heart. She was such a strong person, how could she not have any temper after being stepped on by Lin Yi? Forget it, she still needed him to solve the case. Lingshan comforted herself. Zhang Wen looked at Lingshan and Yu Tian, who suddenly appeared in the ward. His heart was filled with despair. It seemed like the police outside didn't lie to him. The kidney trafficking organization was really done for. Otherwise, Lingshan wouldn't be standing here unscathed. But luckily, Lingshan didn't know that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization. Otherwise, he wouldn't be lying in the hospital now. Zhang Wen, what happened to you? Why did you encounter something like this? Chen Yu Tian felt that this was unbelievable. The kidney trafficking organization wouldn't choose a young master like Zhang Wen who drove a sports car when they chose their target, right? Weren't they afraid that things would get out of hand? Chapter 697. The urge to die, I see. Yu Tian started to sympathize with Zhang Wen. His relationship failed and his kidney was cut off. One could imagine the pain in his heart. He turned to Lingshan. Did you catch the culprit? The mastermind, the tattooed guy, has been caught, but the surgeon committed suicide, Lingshan said faintly. I wonder if there's any hidden profit chain behind this criminal organization? The police are investigating further. What Lingshan said was information that could be obtained from the official channels. However, Zhang Wen was lying in the hospital room, so naturally he didn't know much about these things. When he heard that the tattooed guy had been arrested and that the main surgeon had committed suicide, he felt dizzy. His own kidney trafficking company. The surgeon committed suicide. What was he going to do? He was still hoping that the surgeon could get his kidney back. Now it was all over. Even if he found Zhong Pingliang, he wouldn't be able to find the surgeon to do it. Which hospital would do it for him? He couldn't tell the police, otherwise, the police would ask him how he knew that Zhong Pingliang's kidney was his. Yu Tian saw Zhang Wen's unnatural expression and thought that he was reminiscing about the past. He quickly comforted him. Zhang Wen bro, I'm sorry for your loss. Luckily, you only lost one kidney. Your life is not in danger. Think of a way to get a kidney transplant in the future. Zhang Wen could only smile bitterly. It wasn't just because he lost one kidney. He knew where his kidney was, but he couldn't get it back. This was the most painful thing. Plus, his kidney trafficking organization was his blood, sweat, and tears. Jiangwen, don't worry. The police will give you justice. The criminal has been arrested. We hope that you can testify in court. Ling Shan came as a representative of the police. She didn't like Jiangwen, but he was still a victim. There were some things she had to say. All right. Jiangwen's heart was bleeding. He had to testify against his own criminal organization? Was there anyone else like her in the world? But Jiangwen didn't have a choice. He was afraid that Ling Shan would suspect him, so he could only nod reluctantly. I'll be a witness, Jiangwen bro. How about this? I'll call little Shu and see if she's with Yao Yao. I'll ask them to come and see you too. Chen Yutian saw how pitiful Jiangwen was and felt pity for him. He thought that if Meng Yao came to visit Jiangwen, maybe Jiangwen would feel better. Jiangwen was overjoyed. Chen Yutian knew him the best. As expected of one of the 4 young masters of Mount Songshan. You really are good to me. Meng Yao would sympathize with me if she saw me like this, wouldn't she? At that time, the girl's maternal instincts would come out, and I might even have a chance. Meng Yao may be cold, but she had a kind heart. Jiangwen knew that. Otherwise, she wouldn't have asked Lin Yi to save him at the amusement park. As a result, Jiangwen approved of Meng Yao coming to see him, but he was a little wary of Yushu. That girl was a pure troublemaker who loved to see the world in chaos. He reckoned that she'd probably clap her hands if she saw him in this state, wishing that he'd die. But what Yushu thought had nothing to do with Jiangwen. Jiangwen didn't like Yushu, and he didn't want a girl like her even if she threw herself at him. He wouldn't be able to live if he brought her back home. She might even castrate him in the middle of the night. So Jiangwen always kept his distance from Yushu. He didn't want to mess with her, but he couldn't offend her either. After all, she was Meng Yao's best friend. Then I'll have to trouble you. Yutian bro, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Jiangwen was touched. Yutian cared for him like this even when he was injured. It made him feel good. Yutian called his sister, Yushu. Yushu had just returned to the ward with Meng Yao. She held Meng Yao's hand and looked at the serious expression on Meng Yao's face. She giggled, Yao Yao sis, what's wrong? Why do you look so unhappy? You should be very happy that you escaped death. You should be very happy that you survived. Look at me, every time I play Super Mario Bros. Wii with you, I'll cheer when I meet a boss and survive. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. How can this be the same as a game? Besides, you're happy that Lin Yi saw you? Oh, but I'm not unhappy. So what if he saw me? I'll marry him in the future, won't he see me too? When we played 3P together, we saw everything. Yushu counted with her fingers. It's just a little earlier, so what? Meng Yao rolled her eyes. She realized that she couldn't communicate with Yushu. She didn't know if this girl had the concept of chastity in her head. She acted like nothing had happened after Lin Yi saw her. She was living happily every day, happier than anyone else. Truly, fortune favors fools. Fools wouldn't think so much about gains and losses. When did I say I'm marrying him? Meng Yao humphed. No, you and Lin Yi have to keep it a secret, or else I won't be able to get married in the future. Oh, don't worry, only the 3 of us will know. We won't let outsiders see or talk about our things. Yushu nodded. Meng Yao was speechless. She realized that Yushu didn't seem to understand her at all. Or was she purposely not understanding? Meng Yao suddenly realized that her best friend's brain was very strong. When she wanted to understand, her reaction was faster than anyone else's, but when she didn't want to understand, it was useless no matter what you said. Don't talk about this anymore. Meng Yao could only take a step back and warned Yushu. Okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Yushu nodded. Yao Yao sis, what are we going to do now? It's so boring in the hospital, I don't want to stay here anymore. The smell of disinfectant is making me dizzy. Chapter 698. Super good news, where do you want to go? Meng Yao asked. Why don't we go home and play hide and seek? Yushu suggested. Hide and seek? Are you in heat? Do you want to be sandwiched by the fence again and let Lin Yi touch your boobs? Meng Yao rejected Yushu's suggestion. There was only so much space in the house. It was fine to play hide and seek occasionally, but it was boring to play it often. All right. What do you want to play then? Yushu changed the topic, not even blushing as if Meng Yao wasn't talking about her at all. How would I know? Why don't we go home and play video games? Meng Yao wanted to play games after hearing Yushu talking about video games. Yushu nodded. She liked to play anything. As they were talking, Yushu's phone rang. Yushu looked at the caller ID and saw that it was her brother. She quickly picked it up. Bro? Shu, where are you? Yutian's voice came from the other side of the phone. Yao sis and I are at the hospital. Bro, what's up? Yushu said, if you're free, come and play games with us. Yutian was taken aback when Yushu said that they were in the hospital. He thought that they were sick, but since Yushu said that they were playing games, it was obvious that they were fine. He didn't ask further and said, Zhengwen drank last night and fell asleep on the road. One of his kidneys was cut off by the criminals. If you and Yao are free, why don't you come and see him? We're at Songshan's First People's Hospital, 3rd Inpatient Department, room 218. Holy shit. Yushu's eyes widened and she clapped her hands. Yao sis, let me tell you some super good news. Zhengwen's kidney was cut off, just like Zhong Pengliang. Your pursuers are so pitiful, all of them had their kidneys cut off. Yutian was speechless. This girl of his was too fierce. Even if she didn't like Zhengwen, she didn't have to cheer like that, right? If Zhengwen heard it, wouldn't he be pissed to death? Luckily, he was far away and Zhengwen couldn't hear the conversation. Zhengwen? His kidney was removed? Meng Yao paused. She didn't look as happy as Yushu, but she didn't look sad, either. Zhengwen and her were drifting apart, and they weren't the big brother next door anymore. Meng Yao shook her head. As expected, people couldn't go back to the past when they grew up. Shu, you and Yao should come and take a look, right? No matter what, Zhengwen is a friend from the past. We have a good relationship. Yutian said. Okay. Yao and I don't have anything to do anymore. We can go visit him. It'll be fun. Yushu agreed after some thought. Qin Yutian didn't know what to say. Fun? Zhengwen losing one of his kidneys? Was that fun? However, Qin Yutian couldn't do anything about this weird sister of his. The old man spoiled her and treated her like the treasure of the family. From a certain angle, his sister was indeed very cute. Yao sis, we have a place to play now. Let's go visit Zhengwen in the hospital. His kidney was cut off. It's so fun. Yushu hung up and said to Meng Yao, do you think it was Shield Bro who did it? Linny? Meng Yao was startled. Could it be Linny? Why did Lin Yi cut off Zhengwen's kidney? Was it because Zhengwen wanted to chase her and confess to her during dinner yesterday? It didn't seem possible. Lin didn't even like her. Why would he cut off Zhengwen's kidney? It might be possible if she ordered him to do it, but she didn't order him to do it. Meng Yao and Yushu told Pengzhan that they were going to visit Zhengwen in Songshan's Songshan First Hospital. Pengzhan was worried about the two of them going out alone. After all, the coma incident had just ended. Pengzhan was like a frightened bird. He asked Faubert to send them off. In the car, Yushu called Lin. Shield Bro, where are you? I'm at Songshan's Songshan First Hospital. Lin Yi picked up Yushu's call in front of Tang Yun. Since Tang Yun already knew about his relationship with Meng Yao and Yushu, there was no need to hide it anymore. Oh, that's perfect. Yao and I are going to visit Zhengwen at Songshan's Songshan First Hospital. You can come with us. Yushu said happily when she heard that Lin Yi was going to Songshan First Hospital. Visit Zhengwen? Lin Yi was startled. He thought that this kid's kidney was cut off. Didn't that mean that his kidney was given to Zhong Pengliang? Would that be a match? Yeah, Zhengwen's kidney was cut off. Yushu said happily, come and protect us. What if Zhengwen goes crazy and beats me and Yao sis up? Lin Yi was speechless. Zhengwen's kidney was cut off. How would he have the strength to beat people up? Beat them up? However, Lin Yi knew Yushu's personality. He said, okay, call me when you arrive. Okay, we'll be there soon. Just wait for us at the entrance of the 3rd hospital. Yushu said. After Yushu hung up, Lin Yi saw Tang Yun looking at him. He smiled. Meng Yao and Yushu are here. They are going to visit a patient. They asked me to go with them. Oh, go then. There's nothing else here. Tang Yun wanted to go shopping with Lin Yi after leaving the hospital. The weather was getting hotter and hotter. Tang Yun wanted to buy a pair of shorts. She wanted to go to the night market, but she couldn't do that today. Huh? If there's something else, I'll come back later? Lin Yi saw that Tang Yun wanted to say something but stopped. It seemed like she had something to tell him. Okay, let's see the time. Tang Yun said happily. Lin Yi said goodbye to Mr. Tang and Mrs. Tang before leaving for the third hospital department. He saw Li Fu's Bentley at the bottom of the building, arriving just in time to see Li Fu's car. Meng Yao and Yushu got off the car hand in hand. Yushu waved at Lin. Miss only glanced at Lin Yi indifferently as a greeting. Lin Yi knew what Miss was thinking. He didn't want to argue with her. He smiled. You're visiting a patient. Don't you want to bring some gifts? Oh, we need to celebrate. I'll go buy some firecrackers. Yushu thought for a while and said seriously. Chapter 699. Angered again, you're right, let's have a big meal to celebrate later? Yushu nodded, giving up on the idea of buying firecrackers. The three of them entered the first inpatient department and went up to the second floor. When they arrived at the door of room 218, they saw a policeman patrolling nearby. Seeing that the three of them were about to enter the ward, someone immediately stopped them. May I ask who you are looking for? Yutian came with Lingshan, so naturally, the police let them pass. But Lin Yi, Meng Yao, and Yushu, although they looked harmless, couldn't be taken lightly. We're here to see Jiang Wen, Lin Yi said. He didn't expect Jiang Wen to be protected by the police. Jiang Wen is one of the victims we're protecting. May I know your names? I'll have to ask for the names of the victims and their superior. The police officer said. Who's your superior? Lingshan? Or Lu Wangli? Lin Yi didn't expect it to be so troublesome to look after Jiang Wen. No Captain Song and Captain Lu? The police officer paused. Captain Song is inside. Wait a moment, I'll go get her. After hearing that Lin Yi not only knew Lu Wangli, but also Lingshan, the police officer didn't dare to delay and went into the room after informing Lin Yi. Captain Song, someone wants to see Jiang Wen and he knows you. The police officer reported. Knows me? Lingshan paused. I'll go take a look. Lingshan saw Lin Yi, Meng Yao, and Yushu when she came out of the room. Lingshan was curious about Lin Yi visiting Jiang Wen. Did Lin Yi know Jiang Wen? Lingshan looked at Lin Yi, her expression a little unnatural because Meng Yao and Yushu were there too. But she recovered quickly. What was there to be afraid of? They weren't Lin Yi's girlfriends. What did her relationship with Lin Yi have to do with them? Why is Jiang Wen being protected? He's one of the victims of the kidney trafficking organization. We need him to testify, Lingshan said. Do you know him? Yes, but not close, Lin Yi shrugged, finding it funny. Jiang Wen testifying against his own organization? Although Jiang Wen was the mastermind, all the evidence had been erased. Lin Yi didn't want to waste time talking to Lingshan. Lingshan nodded and followed Lin Yi into the room. She looked like a bully, not daring to pass Lin Yi. No one else noticed this detail, not even Meng Yao and Yushu. Yu Tian, on the other hand, didn't think much about it. He didn't believe that Lingshan would get bullied at all. Shu Yao Yao? Lin Yi, you're here. Yu Tian said Lin Yi's name unnaturally. He respected Lin Yi very much. He called Lin Yi Instructor Eagle instead of Lin Yi's name. Yushu looked at her brother and then at Lingshan. Her face fell. She couldn't understand why her brother was so stubborn. Lingshan obviously didn't like him, and he was still chasing after her. How embarrassing! Lingshan, this fox, was also a troublemaker. She should be taught a lesson. HM? Yushu's eyes lit up. She had an idea. Jiang Wen was overjoyed to see Meng Yao. Yushu, on the other hand, was automatically ignored by Jiang Wen. But when he saw Lin Yi behind Yushu, his face froze up. Lin Yi knew that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization. He was going to remove Lin Yi's kidney this morning, but it turned out to be him. However, Lin Yi hated him. Could it be that Lin Yi saved Lingshan? With that thought, Jiang Wen's hatred for Lin Yi grew even thicker, and so did his fear. He was afraid that Lin Yi would reveal his identity to Lingshan, and he was angry that Lin Yi ruined his hard work. However, he didn't consider that if he didn't capture Lin Yi and Lingshan, his kidney trafficking organization wouldn't be destroyed so quickly. Jiang Wen thought about it carefully and let out a breath of relief. So what if Lin Yi told Lingshan? There was no evidence. The tattooed guy would definitely hold on and wouldn't sell him out. The only person who knew his identity, Dr. Wang, had committed suicide. Who else could prove that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization? Even if he refused to admit it, Lingshan wouldn't be able to do anything to him. People from Hausen weren't easy to bully. He believed that Lingshan wouldn't dare to do anything to him without evidence. Jiang Wen felt relieved after thinking about this. He pretended to be fake and said, "Linny bro, you are here too? You still remember me at this time? I will treat you to a meal when I recover." Jiang Wen had to do this to maintain his image in Meng Yao's heart. Otherwise, Meng Yao would think that he was a narrow-minded person. "Oh, Jiang Wen bro, you lost a kidney, can you still recover? You won't die, right?" Yushu didn't wait for Lin Yi to speak and spoke first. "Waff." Jiang Wen was stunned. His face turned red from Yushu's words. He cursed in his heart. "Motherfucker, would you die if you lost a kidney? Can't you not piss me off?" However, Jiang Wen didn't dare to scold Yushu. He didn't dare to offend House Jin. Plus, Shen Yutian was in the ward. Plus, Yushu was Meng Yao's best friend. If he scolded her, he wouldn't be able to recover. "Shu, don't talk nonsense. Losing a kidney will only affect your health. You won't die." Shen Yutian couldn't do anything to his sister. He could only explain to her. "Oh, I see. I think so too." Yushu nodded. "I heard that a man is not a complete man if he lost a kidney. Jiang Wen bro, your dream of having sex with Yao Yao sis is gone. Plus, you won't be able to have a threesome." What? Jiang Wen's face turned purple. He didn't expect Yushu to be so evil. She touched his sore spot. He shouldn't have let her come. Did she really want to embarrass him in front of Meng Yao? "Shu, don't talk nonsense. Even if he is a man, I won't have sex with him." Meng Yao frowned. She felt that Yushu was going overboard. It was as if she agreed to have sex with Jiang Wen. Meng Yao's words, however, had a different meaning to them. Jiang Wen felt a chill run down his spine. Even if he was a man? Was he not a man now? Chapter 700. Lingshan frowned. Lingshan frowned. "Meng Yao, Yushu, please watch your words. Jiang Wen's a victim, and his injuries and emotions aren't stable yet. Please don't provoke him." "How did I provoke him?" Yushu didn't have a good impression of Lingshan. "I'm just stating the truth. My brother said that losing a kidney will affect his health." Yutian smiled bitterly as he lowered his head. On one side was his sister, and on the other side was Lingshan. Who should he help? Who could he help? Lingshan glared at Yutian. "What are you standing there for? Go get the doctor." "I'll go right now." Yutian nodded and went to get the doctor. Yushu was about to explode. What was wrong with this brother of hers? He was like a mouse in front of a cat in front of Lingshan, so careful and careful. Why was he so soft? She was his sister, and he didn't even care about what that fox said. He even went to get the doctor for Lingshan. "Bro, you can't go." Yushu stood in front of Yutian, staring at him angrily. "She insulted your sister? How could you let her bully me like that?" "Shu." Yutian didn't know what to do. Lingshan wasn't bullying Yushu, was she? She was just being strict with her words. As expected, he's unreliable. Yushu was disappointed to see Yutian in a dilemma. Shield Bro was still the best. He would always help her and stand by her side. Yes, she would only be good to Shield Bro in this life. Even her own brother couldn't do it. Lin Yi was surprised by Yutian's actions, but from Yushu's reaction, he could guess what was going on. Yutian was Lingshan's pursuer? Someone was pursuing Miss Song? "Shu, I'll go get the doctor." Yutian saw the disappointment in his sister's eyes, but there was nothing he could do. Lingshan was the one who told him to get the doctor, and Jiang Wen was unconscious. He didn't want anything to happen to him. "No." Yushu disagreed. This wasn't as simple as finding a doctor anymore. This was a battle between Lingshan and Lingshan. Yushu really didn't understand. Why was her brother like Lingshan so much? Her brother was very outstanding, okay? Although he wasn't as good as Shield Bro, he was still the eldest grandson of the Chen family. What kind of girl couldn't he get? Yushu and Lingshan had always been on good terms since they were young, and that was why Yushu was targeting Lingshan. Mengyao couldn't stand it anymore, but she knew Shu's personality. She might look like a fool, but when she was really stubborn, no one could stop her. This was the reason why Shu stayed by her side when she fainted. Mengyao was very touched. Yushu's words and suggestions sometimes made her feel awkward, like mistresses and threesomes, but Mengyao knew that Yushu really didn't want to be separated from her. She wanted to be with her forever. Linny didn't expect Yushu and Lingshan to fight like this, but Yutian was indeed a little weak, and Linny couldn't stand it anymore. He said faintly, "No need, Zhangwen won't die for now." Yutian opened his mouth, but he could only bite the bullet and say, "Okay." Lin Yi was the person Yutian admired the most, and it was because of Lin Yi that he changed. Otherwise, he would still be a spoiled brat, hanging out with Zhangwen every day. Lingshan, on the other hand, looked at Yutian, surprised. Lin Yi's words worked this well? Why did Yutian agree to it so easily? Lingshan felt like she had lost face, and Yutian didn't listen to her with her strong personality, but when she remembered that it was Lin Yi, she calmed down immediately. She could only blame her bad luck for being bullied by Lin Yi. Would she dare to complain? She didn't at the moment, but today, Yutian made Lingshan look at him in a different light. For the first time, he was strong. It was a pity that Lingshan didn't like him. Changing his personality wouldn't change her feelings. Yushu paused, looking at her brother in disbelief. He didn't even listen to her, but he listened to Shield Bro. Yutian, on the other hand, was surprised. Lingshan didn't insist on going to the doctor anymore. Linny didn't say anything else. He walked to Zhangwen's bedside and pressed on his head a couple of times. Zhangwen woke up immediately. Zhangwen jumped when he saw Lin Yi pressing on his head. Was Lin Yi going to kill him? But then he remembered that Lingshan and Yutian were here. Lin Yi wouldn't dare to kill him. Of course, if only Lin Yi and Yushu were here, Zhangwen wouldn't feel at ease. That girl would definitely work with Lin Yi to kill him. It was too scary. "Thank you, Brother Lin. My body isn't too good and I fainted." Zhangwen thanked Lin. "You're welcome. We're even now," Lin Yi said faintly. Zhangwen paused, but he understood what Lin Yi meant. Lin Yi was referring to how he knocked him out before, and how he woke him up now. Of course, only Zhangwen could understand what he was saying. "Oh, Zhangwen bro, you're awake." Yushu looked at Zhangwen apologetically. "I'm sorry, I won't talk nonsense again." It's fine." What else could Zhangwen say? He didn't want to argue with Yushu. He couldn't afford to. His life would be shortened if he did. "Oh, let's take a photo with Zhangwen bro. Losing a kidney is something to remember. This is the only time he'll ever lose one in his life. He can't lose one in the future." Yushu clapped her hands and suggested. Zhangwen almost fainted again when he heard Yushu's words. What was so memorable about losing a kidney? Only once in his life? Wasn't that obvious? Wouldn't he die if he lost one more time? But Yushu wasn't as sharp this time, so he couldn't argue back. He could only pretend that he didn't understand what Yushu was trying to say. Plus, he was very willing to take a photo with Mengyao. Chapter 701. Will be missed. Oh, it's time to take a picture. Yao Yao, come quick. Yushu waved at Mengyao. Mengyao didn't want to join in the fun, but seeing how excited Yushu was, she didn't object. She walked over and stood beside Yushu, not standing right next to Zhangwen. This disappointed Zhangwen a little. "Bro, you come too." Yushu waved and turned to Lin. "Shield bro, stand behind me and Yao Yao to protect us." "I'll take the picture for you guys, I'll pass." Lin Yi felt that there was no point in taking pictures with Zhangwen. "No, there's only Lingshan sis here. She's the only outsider here. Come quick." Yushu started targeting Lingshan again. Lingshan was about to say, "Why should I take a picture for you guys?" She was a police. She had no obligation to take a family picture for you guys. Plus, so what if she was an outsider? Who would want to be part of your family? But Lingshan didn't get to say anything before Lin Yi spoke up. All right." With that, he walked over and stood behind Yushu and Mengyao. This put Lingshan in a difficult situation. Lin Yi was already there. Should she take the picture or not? I don't have a camera. Lingshan felt like a punching bag. How embarrassing. Lingshan sis, you have a phone. The resolution is really high. The beach castle you took for me last time was really pretty. Yushu didn't want to let Lingshan go. She wanted Lingshan to lose face in front of her brother. She wanted her brother to see that the arrogant girl he liked was just a punching bag in front of Shield Bro. Lingshan was furious. If it weren't for Lin Yi, she wouldn't have gone to take pictures of that beach castle. Was she an idiot? It seemed like Lin Yi thought she was an idiot. No obligation. Lingshan said coldly. All right Lingshan, hurry up and take one. Lin Yi frowned. This Lingshan was too much. There were so many people standing here, and she was still trying to make excuses? Even if she had some conflict with Yushu, he was still standing here. Lingshan froze upon hearing Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi was still standing there. Wouldn't Lin Yi be mad if she didn't film it? She remembered that Lin Yi had called her song Lingshan and not dumb girl, and that made her a little happier. Luckily, Lin Yi had given her face in front of all these people, otherwise she'd lose all her face if he'd called her dumb girl. Alright. Lingshan quickly took out her phone to take a picture, thinking that she'd almost pissed off Lin Yi today because of Yushu. Yushu was very pleased with herself. It seemed that Lingshan was very afraid of Shield Bro. Every time Shield Bro spoke, Lingshan would listen to him. Yutian, on the other hand, was even more surprised. Lingshan didn't say anything when Lin Yi stopped him from going to the doctor, and Yutian thought that Lingshan and Lin Yi didn't know each other well, so she didn't want to refute Lin Yi's words. But now, it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. Lin Yi's words seemed to be very effective on Lingshan. As long as Lin Yi said it, Lingshan would do it. Just what was their relationship? Was it a superior and a subordinate? Otherwise, with Lingshan's personality, when had she ever been so easily bullied? Lingshan took the picture and smiled as she passed the phone to Lin Yi, what do you think? It's all right. Lin Yi nodded after taking a look. Then little dumb girl. I'll send it to you when I get back. Is it the same as last time? Lingshan didn't pay attention and almost blurted out the words. She realized that she wasn't talking to Lin Yi in private and quickly changed her words. All right. Lin Yi was already used to Lingshan's attitude, so he didn't think anything was wrong. But Yutian was shocked. Lingshan's attitude could only be described as fawning. When had Lingshan ever talked to a man in such a nice and friendly manner? She actually talked to Lin Yi in this tone? Yushu and Meng Yao, on the other hand, didn't think much of it. They knew that Lin Yi was very strong, and Lingshan even asked for help from Lin. Zhengwen, on the other hand, didn't expect Lin Yi and Lingshan to be this close. If he knew this would happen, he would have let Lingshan go, and things wouldn't have turned out like this. There was no point in staying here after the photo was taken. Yushu came here to mock Zhengwen, and it was time to leave now that the fun was over. Yao Yao sis, let's go. We've already taken a souvenir, and we'll miss Zhengwen bro. Yushu paused on purpose before continuing, about the kidney. Zhengwen was cursing Yushu in his heart. He wasn't dead yet, how could she miss him? He waited for a long time, and it turned out that she was missing the kidney. He knew that he was tricked by Yushu again. Lingshan controlled her emotions this time. With Lin Yi around, she decided to behave herself. It wouldn't be fun if Lin Yi got angry. Yutian could only smile bitterly at his sister. He couldn't control her. She had been like this since she was young. As for Lin Yi, although Yutian had many questions he wanted to ask, he knew that even if he asked, Lin Yi might not answer. Plus, Lin Yi had already said that he was just his sister's follower. His sister's follower? His sister was too amazing. Meng Yao and Yushu said goodbye to Yutian and left the room. Lin Yi, on the other hand, nodded to Yutian and Lingshan before leaving the room with Meng Yao and Yushu. As for Zhengwen, Lin Yi completely ignored him. After leaving the room, Yushu couldn't hold it in anymore and laughed, haha, I'm so happy. That fox Lingshan is completely suppressed by Shield Bro. Let's see if she can still pretend to be arrogant now, ha. Yushu was really happy. She hated Lingshan ever since she was young. She thought that Lingshan stole her brother from her. But as she grew older, she realized that it was her brother who pursued Lingshan, and Lingshan didn't like her brother. In Yushu's young heart, she thought that her brother was the best boy in the world. Lingshan was blind to look down on her brother. Chapter 702. Chapter 702. The Miss Inner World. Mengyao looked at Lin Yi faintly, not saying anything. She felt as if there was a barrier between her and Lin Yi, and there was an inexplicable feeling whenever she looked at Lin Yi. We have to have a big feast to celebrate today. Yushu seemed to be really happy. There are 3 big things happening today. First, we have to celebrate Yao Yao's coma. Shu. What did you say? Mengyao almost fell down from her anger. Celebrate being poisoned? Was there something wrong with the Shu? Was she gloating? Oh, Yao Yao, don't be mad, I'm not done yet. Yushu waved her hand, feeling wronged. What I meant was, we have to celebrate Yao Yao's coma. She's bound to be blessed after surviving a disaster. Mengyao blushed. It seemed like she'd misunderstood Shu. She glared at her. Can't you make it clear? I did, but I was interrupted. Yushu said weakly. You're still talking? Mengyao made a move to tear Yushu's mouth apart. Don't, I'm the mistress, I don't want to be like this. Yushu cried out. Then don't be the mistress. Mengyao was just trying to scare her. She didn't really want to tear Yushu's mouth off, but she didn't expect Yushu to start talking nonsense again. I'll be the mistress then. Yushu said after some thought. Suit yourself. Mengyao rolled her eyes, not knowing what to say. Then I'll continue. This is the first thing. The second thing is that we have to celebrate Jiangwen losing a kidney, so that he can't bother Yao Yao anymore. Yushu said. Mengyao and Jiangwen were pretty close when they were young, and although they weren't that close anymore, she still felt some sympathy for Jiangwen losing a kidney. It would be too much to celebrate, and so Mengyao didn't support Shu's suggestion. The third thing is to embarrass Fox Song. I'm so happy. Yushu said excitedly. So we have to go and celebrate. Mengyao nodded. Escaping death was something to be thankful for. She looked at Lin Yi and asked faintly, Are you free? Lin Yi was slightly startled. How could the eldest miss speak to him in such a tone? It didn't look like it. In the past, they would always order him to take them out to eat without asking if he was free. Mengyao's attitude made Lin Yi a little embarrassed. He wanted to go back to Tang Yun after visiting Jiangwen, but it seemed like he could only accompany the miss for dinner. I originally asked Tang Yun to buy something, but I can cancel it, Lin Yi said. Let's ask her to come with us then. Mengyao said after some hesitation. Ah. Lin Yi froze on the spot and looked at Mengyao in disbelief. Wasn't the miss and Tang Yun never on good terms? Why was she bringing Tang Yun out to eat today? What did this mean? Why are you looking at me like that? Mengyao frowned. She felt a little guilty being stared at by Lin. In fact, she didn't like this feeling. Ever since Lin Yi saw her body and she peed on Lin, Mengyao instinctively felt guilty and shy in front of Lin. She was no longer as arrogant and strong as before. She was the miss, his employer. How could she feel guilty in front of him? So Mengyao tried to make her tone and attitude as cold as possible to cover up the nervousness in her heart. You want to treat her? Linist. Oh, Yao Yao sis finally wants to negotiate with Tang Yun. That's great. Yushu didn't know what Mengyao was thinking. She cheered according to her own understanding. Negotiate? Lin Yi looked at Yushu. Was the miss going to have a showdown with Tang Yun? Lin Yi had a headache thinking about the scene during lunch. On one side was his employer, and on the other side was his girlfriend. The miss was a prideful person. She must have her face. Shu, what are you talking about? What judgment? Mengyao glared at her. I just want to thank her. In fact, Mengyao thought so too. When she was in the hospital, she heard Tang Yun calling Lin. At that moment, she felt that Tang Yun was actually a good girl. She always appeared in front of her as a love rival. When her life was in danger, Tang Yun didn't want her to die and gloat. Instead, she asked Lin Yi to save her. Mengyao was touched. She was really touched. The miss didn't lack money, but she lacked love. Although Peng Zhan gave her enough fatherly love, he was too busy. No matter how much he loved Mengyao, the time he could spend with her was limited. For a long time, the miss and Shu depended on each other. This caused the miss to have a cold personality. She would treat others well because she was kind. She didn't say it out loud. When Lin Yi first came, the Miss instinctively rejected him. She didn't understand Lin. She didn't know Lin Yi's personality. With Meng Yao's closed personality, it was already the limit for her to accept Lin Yi living in the villa. But as time went on, Meng Yao realized that Lin Yi was really good to her. So good that it was unbelievable. He would risk his life for her and accompany her to be a hostage. Meng Yao remembered this friendship deeply in her heart. But because of her personality, she couldn't say many words of gratitude. At home, Lin Yi often cooked for her and Shu. He took care of her and Shu like a big brother. It made Meng Yao feel warm and comfortable. Since young, no one had ever treated her so well. Meng Yao, who didn't have a mother's love, cherished this kind of relationship. No matter how good Pengzhan was to her, he couldn't cook for her every day. He couldn't take care of her every day. Even if Faubert came to deliver food every day, he would bring it back from a big restaurant. How could it be the same as cooking for her? And so, as Meng Yao slowly accepted Lin Yi's existence, she started to rely on him in a way that was hard to detect. It was as if Lin Yi was omnipotent, and no matter what happened, he would be able to solve it easily. Chapter 703. Protecting happiness. However, Tang Yun's appearance infuriated the Miss. It was as if someone had taken away her most cherished possession. Meng Yao felt that Tang Yun had stolen Lin. How could she just sit back and do nothing? She just had a warm feeling in the house. How could she let someone else take away her happiness? As for all the stuff about how Lin Yi couldn't see that there were pretty girls in the house, and how he went out to flirt with them, it was just an excuse. The real reason was that the Miss had been lacking warmth since she was young. Meng Yao was like a safe, purposely hiding her feelings. She didn't want to admit that there was a warm feeling in the house with Lin Yi. This was the softness in the Miss' heart, and she didn't want others to know. Although, sometimes she felt that this Lin Yi was annoying, it felt good to live under the same roof as him. If it was possible, Meng Yao hoped that this kind of life could continue. However, Tang Yun's appearance brought Meng Yao back to reality from her dream. Her dreams were shattered in an instant. Yes, Lin Yi would leave the villa sooner or later and start his own life. He would have a girlfriend, and he would have his own family, but Meng Yao didn't think that this day would come so soon. So she was filled with hostility towards Tang Yun, and wanted to chase her away from Lin Yi. She would never allow Tang Yun to destroy her warm home. She wanted Lin Yi to prepare breakfast for her and Shu every day. She wanted Lin Yi to be the first to appear when she and Shu were in trouble. So that night, when she saw Lin Yi injured, and when she saw Tang Yun, Meng Yao was furious. But Lin Yi was a member of the villa. Why would he get injured because of Tang Yun? And so, the first clash between Meng Yao and Tang Yun began. The Miss was furious, and without thinking, she declared war on Tang Yun. This declaration led to the second clash in the cafeteria at noon. However, Tang Yun's kindness woke Miss up in an instant. Yes, what did Tang Yun do wrong? Wasn't it Lin Yi who pursued her? How could he blame her? However, Meng Yao really didn't want her to take Lin Yi away from the villa. But after what happened today, after what he'd seen her naked body, and after she'd pissed all over him so awkwardly, could their relationship still be the same? Would he look down on her? Laugh at me? Even if he didn't, how could he face Lin Yi? Annoying, really annoying. Meng Yao felt like she was going to die from annoyance. She'd never been this annoyed in her entire life. So at this moment, Miss decided that she would treat Tang Yun to a meal to express her gratitude. No matter what, they didn't owe each other anymore. The Miss didn't want to owe anyone anything, especially Tang Yun. How she handled her relationship with Lin Yi was her own business. She didn't want to be held back by Tang Yun because she owed Tang Yun a favor. Miss was a smart person and naturally understood this. Miss's words made Lin Yi a little surprised. However, he still took out his phone and called Tang Yun. No matter what, Lin Yi also wanted to ease the relationship between Miss and Tang Yun. Otherwise, it would be troublesome for him to be stuck in the middle in the future. Lin, have you settled the things on your side? Tang Yun was very happy after receiving Lin Yi's call. She had been waiting in the ward. She wanted to call Lin Yi to ask if he could come back at night, but she was afraid that it would affect Lin Yi's work and make things difficult for him. So, she didn't call. It's done, Lin said. I just left the inpatient department. Can you come back? Tang Yun hesitated and asked. Yao Yao said that she wants to treat you to a meal. Do you want to come? Lin asked. Meow? Treat me to a meal? Tang Yun was slightly stunned. She felt that it was a bit unbelievable. Why would Meng Yao treat her to a meal? Express your gratitude? Lin said. Gratitude? Tang Yun understood immediately that Meng Yao was thanking her for calling Lin Yi and asking him to treat Meng Yao's illness. However, Tang Yun was still a little hostile towards the miss, so she didn't want to go. I won't go, will I? It's not good, right? You don't want to come? Then forget it. Lin Yi also guessed what Tang Yun was thinking. She must still have some grudges with Mississippi. Meng Yao wanted to take the phone and talk to Tang Yun personally, but she couldn't lower her face. So, she gave Yushu a look, wanting her to say it for her. Yao Yao sis, look, Tang Yun doesn't dare to come, right? Yushu blinked her eyes and moved closer to Lin Yi's phone. Meng Yao was so angry that she started trembling. This Yushu was really pissing her off. She asked Yushu to invite Tang Yun for her, but she said this kind of thing? Wasn't this continuing to be Tang Yun's enemy? Tang Yun heard Yushu's words and panicked. Who said I don't dare to come? I'll go now. Needless to say, Yushu's provocation worked. No matter what, Tang Yun had already made her decision. Let's meet at the parking lot in front of the hospital, Lin said. Okay, I'll go now. Tang Yun didn't want Yushu to look down on her, as if she was afraid of them. After hanging up, Yushu cheered before Lin could say anything. Yao Yao sis, I'm amazing, right? I tricked Tang Yun to come with just one sentence. You tricked her to come, but I wanted to thank you. How can I thank you like this? Meng Yao shook her head helplessly. You can thank me when she comes, I just tricked her to come, Yushu said innocently. Meng Yao didn't want to argue with Yushu, it would only make her headache worse. She turned to Lin Yi. Did you drive a car? Shu's Beetle can barely fit 4 people, Lin said. Oh, I'll sit in the back with Shu, Meng Yao nodded. Next time, drive the S5. Lin nodded. He didn't dare to touch the Miss car before, but now it seemed that the Miss didn't care about this kind of thing at all. I want to sit in the front, I can point the way for Shield Bro, I know a super cool Western restaurant. Yushu didn't want to sit in the back, it was unknown if she did it on purpose, but Meng Yao and Tang Yun sat together. You can also point the way from the back, Meng Yao said. I'm nearsighted, I can't see the back clearly, Yushu shook her head. Chapter 704. Chapter 704. Jealous? Oh, I'm fine now, I can see clearly again. Yushu waved her hands. Meng Yao glared at her. She'd been glaring at Yushu all day long, and her own eyes were starting to hurt. Lin had long since gotten used to Meng Yao and Yushu's bickering. The two had always been like this, bickering, but their relationship was frighteningly good. Meng Yao pulled Yushu to the back seat. The Beetle wasn't big, but it was more than enough to fit 2 petite girls. Yushu was a little uncomfortable. It's so cramped, I want to sit in the front. Your boobs are too big, so it's cramped. Just cut them off. Meng Yao said, a little pissed off. Lin Yi wasn't in the car at the moment, leaning against the driver's door, waiting for Tang Yun. Meng Yao dared to say something like that, but Lin Yi's hearing was better than a normal person's, and he heard everything clearly. Yao Yao, you're jealous of me. Yushu covered her boobs as she looked at Meng Yao cautiously. Who cares? There's a lot of people with big boobs, it's not that rare anymore. Meng Yao curled her lips. That's true, the main wife and the second wife have their own specialties. It's not good to have the same, it's not attractive. Yushu nodded in agreement. Meng Yao didn't know how to respond to Yushu's words, so she kept quiet. Soon, Tang Yin walked out of the first ward, and ran over to Lin Yi as soon as she saw him. Through the car window, Lin Yi could see that Tang Yin's body was well proportioned. Her boobs weren't too big, but they weren't too small either. Her legs were straight and long, and her height wasn't any lower than Meng Yao's. Her ponytail swayed in the car park under the light of the setting sun, giving off an indescribable feeling of youth. Meng Yao had to admit that Tang Yin was perfect, a typical pretty girl. It made her a little jealous. There's 2 of us, we won't lose to her. Yushu said, seeing Tang Yin's unwillingness to lose. Meng Yao was speechless. Was this a human wave tactic? A three-team tactic? Wouldn't it be embarrassing even if they won? Besides, when was she going to marry Lin? She just felt that he took good care of her. Tang Yun paused when she saw the beetle behind Lin. She had been in this car before, but it wasn't Lin Yi's car. It should be Meng Yao or Yushu's. Did you wait for a long time? I'm sorry. Tang Yun fixed the bangs in front of her forehead and apologized. She couldn't lose her composure in front of Meng Yao, otherwise she wouldn't have said that. It's fine, get in. Lin Yi opened the door for Tang Yun. Tang Yun saw Meng Yao and Yushu sitting at the back and felt a little embarrassed. I don't think it's appropriate for me to sit at the front. Oh, that's great. I want to sit in the front. Let's swap seats? Yushu was happy to see that Tang Yun was still unwilling to sit in front. Shu, shut up. Meng Yao covered Yushu's mouth and glared at her before turning to Tang Yun. You're the guest, of course you should sit in the front. In fact, Meng Yao thought the same. The car was small, and it wasn't appropriate for Tang Yun to sit in the back. Tang Yun was a little embarrassed when she heard that Yushu wanted to sit in the front, but it wasn't appropriate for her to sit next to the Mississippi. She was in a dilemma. Tang Yun, don't listen to Shu's nonsense. She's always like that, talking nonsense every day. You'll get to know her after spending some time with her. Meng Yao felt a little embarrassed when she saw that Tang Yun was in a dilemma. She did treat them to a meal to thank them, not to declare war. It was hard to say what would happen in the future, but she had to be more sincere today. Okay. Tang Yun smiled, but in her heart, she thought, how could they interact more in the future? The luxurious life that Meng Yao and Yushu lived was too far away from her. She still didn't have a place to buy her own house. Tang Yun got in the car, and Lin Yi followed. He started the car and asked, what do we want to eat? Where to? Listen to me, I know a super cool Western restaurant. Yushu said. Lin Yi saw that Meng Yao didn't object, so he nodded. Turn left in front. Then turn right again. Go to the high road, go to the upper bridge in the middle. Then go to the lower bridge on the right. Then Yushu started to give directions. It was more efficient than a navigation system. Lin Yi followed Yushu's directions and stopped the car in front of a restaurant called Super Cool Couple Western Restaurant. Lin Yi was speechless. The name of this restaurant was as shocking as the awesome floating cloud bar. Were these two chain restaurants? Meng Yao looked at the big signboard and didn't know what to say. It was indeed super cool. But was this a couple restaurant? Didn't that mean that only couples would come here? What was with the four of them coming here? Wasn't this combination a little weird? Shu, is this a couple restaurant? Should we go somewhere else? Meng Yao frowned when she saw that all the people coming in and out of the restaurant were couples. We're already here, why don't we go somewhere else? I'm starving. Yushu shook her head and urged. Meng Yao had no choice but to let Lin Yi park the car and get out. The doorman who parked the car at the entrance of the Western restaurant thought it was a couple getting off the Beetle, but he didn't expect four people to get off. He suddenly felt a little strange. Excuse me, are you all here to eat? Of course, why would we park the car here if we're not here to eat? It's not fun here. Yushu thought that the valet was an idiot, asking stupid questions. Oh, please come in. The valet shook his head. It couldn't be two couples, could it? Was one of them a lesbian? He thought evilly as he invited Lin Yi's group into the restaurant. A waiter came to serve them. Good evening. The manager walked over and greeted politely. Give me a private room. Yushu looked at the layout curiously. She had read about this restaurant on the internet before. It was said that this was a heaven for lovers. Yushu wanted to see it, but she didn't have any lovers. She heard that this place didn't accept couples, so she gave up on the idea. But today was her chance. One room. The lobby manager was slightly startled. One room for the four of you? Yeah. Yushu nodded. Chapter 705. We are a couple, yes, give us a couple's room. Yushu said. I'm sorry, the four of you can only get 2 private rooms. One private room is not allowed. The lobby manager was a little impatient. Are these people looking for trouble? Couples' rooms and seats were charged by the hour. Wouldn't it be a loss for the restaurant to have 4 people in a room? Who said we aren't a couple? Yushu wasn't willing. We are a couple. Huh? For people? All of them are couples? The manager didn't believe Yushu's words. He was certain that these 4 were here to cause trouble. But they must be blind to mess around in Lei Bro's place. Were they tired of living? Yeah, I'm Shield Bro's second wife. Yao Yao Sis is Shield Bro's first wife. She's Shield Bro's girlfriend. Why can't we go to the same room? Yushu explained impatiently. Hey, Baldy, why are you wasting time? We're here to spend money. Why are you being so nosy? The manager heard Yushu's words and felt disdainful. Wasn't this *T? First wife, second wife, and a girlfriend? Did she think he was an idiot? Plus, this girl dared to call him Baldy? He was a bald man, okay? It was very popular in the underworld. Spending money? I think you're here to mess around? The manager's attitude turned cold. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you know what's good for you, I don't care who sent you here. Tell him that Lei Bro's territory is not a place for others to mess around. Is there something wrong with you? What Lei Bro, Rain Bro, Lightning Bro? We're here to eat. Yushu thought that there must be something wrong with this Baldy's brain. The lobby manager sneered and said faintly, Our private room can only accommodate 2 people. If you're here to eat, I welcome you. Get 2 rooms. Meng Yao frowned. She was a high and mighty existence. When had she ever been looked down upon like this? Especially today, they were here to invite Tang Yun. If they left just like that, what face would they have left? The problem was, if this restaurant really had such a rule, then so be it. Meng Yao saw 3 people enter a room with her own eyes. She stopped Shu and told the manager, I saw 3 people enter a room just now. Did I see it wrong? It's in that box. With that, Meng Yao pointed at room 101, which wasn't far behind the manager. The manager laughed at Meng Yao's words. So you're here to cause trouble. Brother Lei, someone is fucking here. The 4 of them insisted on a private room. The person in room 101 was the owner of this dazzling couple restaurant, Brother Lei. He had indeed brought 2 girls into room 101 because he was preparing to have 3 batches. He was the boss here. Naturally, he could do whatever he wanted. Brother Lei had just entered the private room and was ready to fight when he heard the manager shout. He immediately frowned, pushed open the door of the private room and walked out. He said arrogantly, What's going on? Fuck, who's fucking at this time? Do they want to die? Lin Yi understood what was going on from the sidelines. So this Lei Bro from room 101 was the owner of this Western restaurant. Meng Yao's example was useless. He was the boss, so it didn't matter how many people he brought. However, the restaurant's rule was that only couples could enter a room. This was one of the ways the restaurant made money. Otherwise, the restaurant wouldn't be able to make so much money if a large group of people went to a room. The interior design of this restaurant was very high-end. They were relying on the room fees to make money. Usually, couples would go to a room, eat, and drink red wine. In this romantic environment, it was inevitable that they would think about sex after they were full and do something they loved to do. This way, unless it was a quick shooter, it would take a long time. Naturally, they would earn money from the room fees. But if a large group of people went to a room, what else could happen? If they left after eating, how would the restaurant make money? The prices of the dishes here were basically mediocre and not profitable. What they relied on were some attractive decorations and atmosphere. Lin Yi knew these things just by looking at the price list at the door. So it was reasonable that the manager wasn't willing. Lin Yi couldn't be bothered with this. Although this restaurant's operation was a bit unorthodox, they were willing to operate it this way. The Industry and Commerce Bureau didn't find trouble with them. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't poke his nose into other people's business. Yao Shu, let's go. Since this restaurant doesn't work, let's go to another one. Lin Yi didn't want to waste his breath here. He knew that Meng Yao was afraid of losing face, so he took the initiative to leave. Meng Yao heard Lin Yi's words and didn't insist anymore. After all, Lin Yi was the one who suggested leaving first. She didn't have to lose face. She nodded and said, All right, let's go to another one. Seriously, you're crazy to not do business when there's a chance. Yushu wanted to see the room. She heard that there were sex toys for couples. Yushu was very curious, but it seemed like she couldn't do it today. Leibro was originally unhappy that he was interrupted when he was about to play with women. But when he saw Mengyao, Yushu, and Tang Yun, his eyes almost popped out. No way? They were the best, and there were 3 of them at once. Brother Lei had played with quite a number of women. He ran a Western restaurant and made a lot of money every day. Moreover, he had a cousin who was doing well, so he was rich and arrogant. Naturally, he threatened and tricked pretty girls and got his hands on quite a number of them. But Leibro hadn't played with the 3 in front of him before. He had seen pretty girls like these 3, but they were all experienced men. They didn't look innocent at all. Leibro didn't have a good time playing with them. But the girls in front of him looked very innocent. They might even be virgins. Leibro wouldn't let them slip away in front of him. What's their background? Leibro whispered to Ma Bailan. 4 of them. They came in a beetle. The man is driving, Marbelin replied in a low voice. Chapter 706. Can't end well. Driving a beetle with 1 girl was considered flashy, but 3 was a little shabby. He might as well drive a hatchback. And these 3 girls were squeezed in the same car with him. They were obviously inexperienced. Who else would squeeze in a car like that? It's my honor that these 3 beauties are here to eat. Bailan, how can you shut them out? Leibro pretended to be angry as he scolded the manager. Ma Bailan paused and understood what Leibro meant. Leibro probably had his eyes on these 3 girls. These 3 girls were really pretty, but they were unlucky enough to come to Leibro's territory and act arrogantly. Wasn't that like sending sheep into a tiger's mouth? I'm sorry, Leibro. Ma Bailan quickly apologized. He purposely made himself look lowly to highlight Leibro's mighty image. 3 beauties, please come in. Bailan, hurry up and prepare a room. Leibro gave him a look. No need, we won't be eating here. Mengyao felt uncomfortable under Leibro's perverted gaze. She pulled Yushu's hand and prepared to leave. Tang Yun didn't say anything. She didn't need to say anything with Lin Yi here. She knew that Lin Yi wouldn't let anyone bully her. Since you're here, let's eat here. How about I personally toast and apologize to you guys later? Leibro looked at Mengyao with a smile. If you guys are still breathing, I'll pay for everything you spend today, free of charge. Leibro wanted to keep Mengyao, Yushu, and Tang Yun here. As for Lin Yi, he didn't care about him at all. He didn't think that Lin Yi had a deep relationship with these 3 girls. These 3 girls were obviously prostitutes, so Leibro guessed that Lin Yi was either a normal friend or a pervert like him who had ulterior motives towards these 3 girls. Oh, if that's the case, Yao sis, let's do it here? Yushu was tempted. She wanted to see the room in this Western restaurant. Are there any legendary sex toys inside? Mengyao hesitated for a moment, but didn't insist after seeing how much Yushu wanted to stay. All right, but we'll pay for the meal and the room. I don't mind if you want to double it. Mengyao didn't want to owe Leibro any favors, so she was willing to pay double the price. Don't you think it's a loss to have 4 people in a room? Then you can count it as double. Oh, that's great. Seeing that Mengyao had agreed, Yushu pulled Mengyao with her, eager to walk inside. Lin Yi and Tang Yun followed behind them. In front of Miss, Lin Yi was too embarrassed to hold Tang Yun's hand. Wait, you can't go in. Under Brother Lei's signal, Ma Bailan reached out and blocked Lin Yi from going in. Lin Yi frowned slightly. It seemed like Leibro and Ma Bailan had decided to make a big deal out of this. Lin Yi stopped, and so did Mengyao, Yushu, and Tang Yun. Why would they go if Lin Yi couldn't go in? Why don't you let him in? Mengyao frowned as well. Are you going back on your words? I only said to let the 3 beauties in, but I didn't say anything about letting this kid in. Leibro looked at Lin Yi in disdain and said to the 3, ignore him, please come in. We're not eating anymore. Mengyao was furious. This guy didn't let Lin Yi in? What was the point of eating then? Mengyao suppressed her anger. She didn't want Tang Yun to see how unruly her miss was. She said faintly, let's go, Shu. Oh. Yushu nodded obediently this time. What was the point of going to the room if she didn't let Shield Bro in? Even if there were sex toys, who would she play with? Therefore, she had lost interest in it. Tang Yun naturally followed Lin. Why would she come if Lin Yi couldn't come in? She turned around and wanted to leave too. What's wrong? You don't want to do me the honor? Lei Bro felt that he had miscalculated. He didn't expect these three beauties to value Lin Yi so much. Before, Lei Bro didn't think that Lin Yi was important. He thought that he was just a rich guy, but now it seemed like that wasn't the case. If he knew this would happen, he would have let Lin Yi in as well. He would have thought of a way to send Lin Yi away. But now, he had already said it. If he let Lin Yi in as well, wouldn't it make him look weak? He was planning to hit on girls. How could he lower his head? Lei Bro saw that using tricks didn't work, so he had to use force. He had his eyes on these three beauties. He couldn't let them go. Move. We don't want to eat anymore. Meng Yao had Lin Yi with her, so she wasn't afraid of these people. Do you think that this Western restaurant belongs to your family? Ma Bailin also understood the boss's intention at this moment. Since the soft approach didn't work, he directly used the hard approach. Naturally, Ma Bailin arrogantly blocked the three's path. Yao Yao sis, leave it to me. Yushu saw that the conflict had escalated and immediately got excited. She let go of Meng Yao's hand and rushed towards Ma Bailin. Ma Bailin was stunned. He didn't know what Yushu was going to do. In the end, before he could figure out what was going on, a tragedy happened. Yushu's foot landed on Ma Bailin's crotch, and the man's eyes rolled back with a grunt as he crouched on the ground, holding his crotch as beads of sweat dripped down his forehead. Oh yeah! Yushu shouted happily. She made a victory sign with her finger. Yao Yao sis, I actually hit him in one hit. He's even weaker than a shark. Yushu had always been fearless. She dared to fight zombies and sharks, let alone a manager like Ma Bailin. But she didn't expect Ma Bailin to be so weak. One kick and he couldn't get up. In fact, Ma Bailin wasn't weak. He didn't have any defense at all. Because Ma Bailin didn't think that Yushu could do anything to him. Imagine a little girl with a baby face running towards you. What would your first thought be? Who would think that she would use a move like the climax kick? Lin Yi shrugged. It seemed like this wouldn't end well. Lin Yi wasn't a person who liked to bully others. But if someone bullied him, he wouldn't just ignore it. Chapter 707. I'm not ready to leave, but this Lei Bro who came out later obviously made things complicated. Lin Yi knew what he was thinking. He wanted to keep the three of them here because of their lust. Lin Yi, naturally, wouldn't let him get away with it. But what Lin Yi didn't expect was that Yushu made a move first. Lei Bro was also shocked by the scene. He didn't expect a young girl like Yushu to be able to use such a vicious move. It was a direct hit, turning Ma Bailin into a prawn. Ma Bailin was probably in a lot of pain now. It was hard to say if he would ever be able to have sex again. Lei Bro's face darkened immediately. Good, very good. It's spicy, but I like it. Lei Bro looked at Yushu with a lustful desire to conquer her. Let's call it a day. I'm in a good mood. I don't want to do anything to you, and I won't come here again. What do you think? Lin Yi looked at Lei Bro and said faintly. His eyes looked like he was giving charity. In fact, in Lin Yi's eyes, he was really nothing. Since Yushu had taught them a lesson, Lin Yi didn't want to mess with them anymore. They were supposed to celebrate today, and Lin Yi didn't want to spoil the mood because of these small fries. Waff! Lei Bro paused, then laughed out loud. He looked at Lin Yi as if he was looking at an idiot. Ma Bailin, who was crouching on the ground, couldn't help but laugh as well. It was a happy laugh, as if he had forgotten the pain in his body. Shield Bro, are they stupid? Yushu looked at Lei Bro and Ma Bailin oddly. How could people laugh so happily all of a sudden? Did he suffer some kind of shock? Shoo! Meng Yao signaled Yushu not to say anything at this time. Yushu's kick had made things complicated, and they didn't know if it would end well. Meng Yao didn't want to waste time with these people. She really wanted to treat Tang Yun to a meal. Oh, I got it. Yushu called out in sudden realization. They're so happy because Shield Bro said he'd let them go. They're so happy. Meng Yao, Lin Yi, and Tang Yun couldn't help but laugh at Yushu's words. However, Lin Yi and Meng Yao were already used to it. Tang Yin finally understood what Meng Yao meant in the car. This was Yushu's personality. She'd understand it after interacting with her more. She was indeed a very cheerful girl. She was always so happy and didn't feel nervous at all. "Chick, your joke isn't funny." Brother Lei clapped his hands and said, "Today, none of you can leave." Just as Brother Lei was clapping, a group of men in black suits quickly ran over and surrounded Lin Yi and the other three. The leader, who had a scar on his face, turned to Brother Lei respectfully and said, "Brother Lei, what do we do now?" "Beat the man until he's disabled and throw him out. Knock the woman out and keep her." Brother Lei's face showed a ruthless expression. His restaurant was wrecked. If word got out, he wouldn't be able to live in this world anymore. "Oh, you called for help." Usually, the antagonist in the cartoon would do this after getting beaten up. But do you know the consequences? Yushu suddenly asked. The entire restaurant was filled with a tense atmosphere. However, after Yushu's words, everyone's face showed a strange expression. The atmosphere suddenly became less tense. Wasn't this chick scared? There were so many people standing here. How could she still have the mood to talk about such strange things? "Chick, your chest is pretty big. I like it." Brother Lei looked at Yushu and licked his lips. "I can tell you the consequences. You'll become my plaything." Brother Lei wasn't a fool, and he didn't dare to mess with just anyone. However, he had heard from Ma Bailin that the four of them came in a beetle. What background could they have? If there were only 2 people, he would have to think about it. But there were 4 of them. Other than the man, no one else had a car. Which rich kid didn't have a car? Besides, Brother Lei knew about the famous young masters in Songshan. He had never seen Lin Yi before. So he was unscrupulous. Bang. Yushu, on the other hand, kicked out abruptly while Lei Bro was talking, landing another kick on the knife-scarred man who was surrounding her. The knife-scarred man had turned his head to look at Lei Bro, and Yushu's kick caught him off guard. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets, and he cried out in pain as he squatted on the ground, clutching his chest. "Oh, I kicked him again. These people are worse than sharks. They're so weak." Yushu cheered. "Yao Yao sis, come and play. It's so fun." Brother Lei's face darkened. This was a provocation. Yushu still dared to hit his men in front of so many people. She didn't respect him at all. He laughed coldly. "Don't waste time talking to them. Just go. If the woman resists, take her down too." Meng Yao looked at Yushu helplessly. She made things worse. Luckily Lin Yi was here. They didn't have to worry about not being able to leave. "Are you really not letting us go?" Lin Yi looked at Brother Lei. "Do you know who I am? No one has ever been able to walk out of my territory standing up." Brother Lei laughed arrogantly. "All of you have to stay here today, especially that girl. I don't mind telling you that my cousin is Li Tsihua. You should know your place. If you know what's good for you, serve me well. Even if you kneel and beg me, I'll consider letting you leave." "Your cousin is Li Tsihua?" Lin Yi was surprised. No wonder their names were so cool. One was Tsihua, and the other was Lei. One was Floating Cloud Bar, and the other was Western Restaurant. It was a perfect match. Now you know how to be afraid? Brother Lei enjoyed this feeling. Every time he mentioned his cousin's name, the people who came to him would be scared shitless. They would also give out their women for him to play with. This time, Brother Lei thought the same. He wanted the 3 girls to take the initiative to serve him. There was no point in forcing them. Chapter 708. Not done yet. Since Li Delei was Tsihua's cousin, Lin Yi planned to use him to test the doctor, besides Tsihua, the person who poisoned him. "Lin Yi, be careful." Tang Yun saw Lin Yi walking towards the men in black and quickly reminded him. "Tang Yun, you don't understand, Shield Bro. It's the bad guys who need to be careful." Yushu said to Tang Yun. Tang Yin pouted, wondering why she didn't understand Lin Yi at all. She knew him very well, okay? How could these thieves be a match for Lin Yi? Wasn't she just worried about him? "I'm telling him to be careful. Don't hurt them." Tang Yun said. "Oh, it's fine even if they're hurt. We're just defending ourselves. That vixen Lingshan is very afraid of Shield Bro anyway." Yushu said nonchalantly. Li Delei's expression changed. He didn't expect these people to be so fearless in this situation. There were only 2 possibilities. First, they were ignorant and fearless. They were all idiots. The second possibility was that they had absolute confidence in leaving this place. Before, Li Delay thought that it was the first possibility and thought it was funny. But now, Li Delay was leaning towards the second possibility. After hearing Zihua's name, not only was Lin Yi not afraid, but he even walked up to them and said that he wasn't leaving. Of course, this wasn't the main point. The main point was that Yushu mentioned Song Lingshan. She even dared to call Song Lingshan a vixen. Li Delay wasn't unfamiliar with Song Lingshan's name. She was the captain of the criminal investigation team in the city police station. How could people like them who mingled in the underworld not have heard of it? Could these people be related to Song Lingshan? Li Delay was nervous at the thought. He hesitated and decided to find out more about these people. Guys, you must have something to rely on if you dare to come here, right? Tell us, don't ruin the Dragon King's temple. Lin Yi could naturally tell that Li Delay was compromising. He changed his mind after hearing Lingshan's name. It didn't matter if Li Delay had a powerful background or not, Lingshan could still deal with him. Of course, it would probably be very difficult to directly put him in prison, but if he came looking for trouble from time to time, it would be enough to make him suffer. How could someone like Li Delay not have any evidence? It was obviously impossible. However, Lin Yi didn't reply. His fate was sealed the moment Lin Yi found out about his relationship with Zihua. He was destined to be Lin Yi's test subject against Zihua or the poisoner beside Master Bing. Since you guys don't want to tell me, then I can't do anything about it. I don't care if you guys have any background, but you have to give me an explanation for messing around in my Western restaurant. Take him down. Li Delay said indifferently. He wasn't afraid of anything. So what if he knew Lingshan? If he didn't touch those girls, that would be the end of it. Beating that brat up could be considered as relieving his anger and getting back some face. Even if Lingshan knew about it, she wouldn't do anything to him. At most, she would just compensate him with some money. The men in black looked at Lin Yi cautiously, but they weren't too afraid. After all, they had the absolute advantage in numbers. On Lin Yi's side, Lin Yi was the only one who could make a move. As for Yushu, they didn't put her in their eyes at all. She was just a sneak attack. She didn't have any combat ability. Their eyes were all on Lin. The moment Lin Yi got close, they moved. They didn't let their guard down and attack together. They were ready to take down Lin Yi in one go. They had lost all their face and they wanted to get it back. But they had a good idea. They moved, and Lin Yi moved as well, but Lin Yi's speed was much faster than theirs. Before they could see what was going on, they felt a sharp pain in their necks, and their vision went black. They didn't know what happened after that. Oh, Shield Bro, you're amazing. But can you leave one for me? I haven't had enough. Yushu screamed excitedly. You're a little late. Lin Yi just knocked out the last man, and he was falling to the ground. However, Lin Yi pulled him back and gave him a massage before pushing him to Yushu, but it's okay, I woke him up. Oh. Yushu looked at Lin Yi with admiration. He was amazing. He could wake someone up after knocking them out? Yushu looked at the black-clothed man wobbling towards her eagerly, ready to make her move. The black-clothed man's face was filled with terror, but he didn't have the strength to fight back at all. Lin Yi's push sent him stumbling towards Yushu's direction, as if he was doing an inertial exercise. He didn't know what happened to him. Why couldn't he control himself? In fact, Lin Yi did something to him. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't have allowed such a dangerous person to get close to Yushu and the others. However, the man in black was like a puppet. He couldn't resist at all. Not only the man in black, but even Li Delay's eyes were filled with shock and fear. He was afraid that Lin Yi could knock out his men in an instant, but now he was afraid that Lin Yi could wake him up after knocking him out. However, what happened next was even more terrifying. Li Delay watched as his last man was kicked in the crotch by Yushu. His eyes rolled back, and he fainted on the ground while foaming at the mouth. Although the diners in the Western restaurant also heard the sound of fighting coming from the lobby, who dared to come out at this time? They were afraid that they would be implicated, so they locked their doors tightly. As for those couples who passed by the Western restaurant and wanted to eat here, when they saw the situation in the lobby, they all turned around and left. Li Delay watched as Lin Yi approached him step by step. He was filled with fear. This person was indeed fearless. He had miscalculated. Shield bro, can I kick this one too? Yushu was addicted to kicking people. She felt that kicking bad guys was an incomparably satisfying thing. Li Dilei's face twitched. Let you kick him? Wouldn't I die without descendants then? Bro, let's talk this out. Peace brings wealth. Li Dilei was afraid that Lin Yi would push him to Yushu as well. Wouldn't he be dead then? He knew that he wasn't Lin Yi's opponent. None of his men could defeat Lin Yi, and he wasn't stronger than them. Chapter 709. Leave him to die. Ah! Li Dilei screamed. He thought he was going to die, but he realized that he didn't feel anything. He was surprised. Huh? It didn't hit me? However, when Li Dilei looked down, he realized that his body was full of silver needles. Each of them shone under the lights of the restaurant. It was eerie and scary. These needles were on his body? Li Dilei was shocked. He didn't know what technique Lin Yi used, but he wasn't stupid. He knew that it wasn't a normal technique and he wasn't playing with him. Lin Yi's technique against his subordinates was much sharper than this one. How could it be easier for him to deal with his subordinates? It was obviously impossible, but he didn't know what Lin Yi was trying to do. What did you do to me? What are these needles for? Li Dilei asked in fear as he raised his hands. There was a needle in each of his hands. Pull it out and you'll know. Lin Yi said faintly, but you better not pull it out. Hurry up and call your cousin. If Lin Yi didn't say it, Li Dilei would have pulled the needles out, but he didn't dare to do it after Lin Yi said it. Lin Yi's words were scary. Who knew what would happen? Lin Yi didn't care if Li Dilei removed the needles or not. He turned to Mengyao, Yushu, and Tang Yun. Let's go to another place. We won't eat here. Li Dilei could only smile bitterly. He didn't expect things to end up like this. He could only watch Lin Yi, Mengyao, Yushu, and Tang Yun leave. However, Yushu didn't seem to want to leave. She turned around and looked at the needles on Li Dilei's body curiously. Shield bro, what are those? Can I pull one out and try? Don't pull it out. He'll die if you pull it out, Lin Yi said. Oh, I see. Forget it then. I don't want to kill anyone. Yushu shook her head. Then let him die on his own. Li Dilei sweated. Would he really die if he pulled the needles out? He didn't know, but Yushu's words almost angered him to death. The four walked out of the restaurant, and Mengyao pushed Yushu to the side when she saw that she was still waving her hands around excitedly. Shu, get in the car first. Oh. Yushu nodded and got in the car first. Mengyao then turned to Tang Yun. I'm sorry, Tang Yun, I wanted to treat you to a meal. I didn't think it would turn out like this. Shu's always like that, always causing trouble. Don't mind her, you'll get used to it. Tang Yun didn't expect Mengyao to explain things to her. Was this how Mengyao's arrogant miss was? Yun didn't think it. Or was it because Mengyao was easy to get along with? Tang Yun shook her head. It's nothing. No one wants to encounter something like this. It's just that this restaurant went overboard. Mengyao sighed in relief when she saw that Tang Yun wasn't unhappy. She did come to thank Tang Yun today. No matter if they had conflicts in the past or if they were competitors, Mengyao really wanted to treat Tang Yun to a meal today. She was afraid that Tang Yun would think that Yushu brought her to this place on purpose and mess things up. It's good that I met Li Dilei. I wanted to test him too. Lin Yi waved his hand. Let's get in the car. Mengyao and Tang Yun didn't understand Lin Yi's words. Why was it good to meet Li Dilei? But since Lin Yi didn't say it out loud, they didn't ask. Mengyao didn't want Tang Yun to look down on her. She wanted to use her identity as an employer to pry into Lin Yi's privacy. Tang Yun had the same idea. She didn't want Mengyao to think that she was a busybody and didn't give Lin Yi any personal space. After getting in the car, Mengyao asked Yushu, Shu, let's go to another restaurant. Don't look for another one like this. Where did you hear about this restaurant? I saw it on the internet. They said it's really romantic here and, ugh, it's nothing, I just wanted to take a look. Yushu stopped herself from blurting out the sex toys she'd been talking about. There's nothing to experience. Don't believe these advertisements. Mengyao didn't have a good impression of this restaurant. She decided not to come here anymore. Oh, I know another one. Yushu wanted to say something but was interrupted by Mengyao. Okay, let's go to my family's hotel. Meng Yao didn't want any more trouble. She felt safer at her own hotel. Tang Yun's heart skipped a beat when she heard Meng Yao's words. The difference between her and Meng Yao was too big. Her family had a hotel, but she didn't even have a house. This was the only thing that made Tang Yun feel inferior in front of Lin Yi. She wasn't any worse than Meng Yao and Yushu in terms of looks, but Lin Yi's best choice was either Meng Yao or Yushu. Plus, Yushu seemed to want to be a buy one get one free, a small wife. Tang Yun had a headache. Lin Yi didn't know that Tang Yun was thinking so much. He drove to Pengzhan Hotel. Pengzhan had a family dinner here before, and Lin Yi attended it. Pengzhan had planned to have a party like this every week, but because of the falling chandelier, it was postponed. Today was the second time Lin Yi came to Pengzhan Hotel, but it was crowded here. The cars in front of the hotel weren't less than Starlight Hotel. However, the cars here were more business-oriented. Although they were luxurious, there were very few sports cars. It seemed that Pengzhan's hotel focused on business and meetings, while Starlight Hotel focused on entertainment. Most of the rich kids went there. Lin Yi drove the car into the parking lot, and a security guard directed Lin Yi to park the car. Meng Yao and Yushu rarely appeared here. Even when they had a meal with Pengzhan, they would sit in Faubert's car and drive into the internal parking lot. They would go through the staff passageway, so the security guards didn't know who the miss was. Meng Yao, on the other hand, didn't put on the airs of a Mississippi. She kept a low profile as she entered the hotel lobby with Yushu, Tang Yun, and Lin Yi. They got themselves a room and went upstairs. Chapter 710. The common ground from Tang Yun's perspective, those rich young masters or daughters in those soap operas would always have a seal with them when they went to their families' hotels and malls, flattering them. This was also why Tang Yun felt that there was a gap between her and the miss, but now it seemed that the miss really was low-key. No one here knew her, and she didn't act like a miss at all. Meng Yao may have grown up in a rich family, but she didn't develop a domineering personality. One reason was because Pengzhan's upbringing was strict, and the other was because the miss was a lonely person. She didn't make friends easily. Yushu was the only good friend she'd had since she was young, and the others weren't that good. Thus, the miss wasn't led astray by bad friends. They both didn't have a mother's love, and this caused Meng Yao and Xiaoxiao to have extreme personalities. They had one thing in common, and that was that they didn't have too many friends. Meng Yao only had Yushu, and Xiaoxiao didn't have any. But the miss was better than Xiaoxiao in the sense that her mother wasn't dead. There was still hope. And with Shu's company, she wasn't that lonely. Xiaoxiao, on the other hand, had nothing, and she had a terminal illness. She could only squander her life to realize the value of her short life. Entering the room, Meng Yao gave the menu and machine to Tang Yun for her to order. But Tang Yun had never been to such a high-class restaurant before. She flipped through 2 pages and was shocked by the price. Why was it so expensive? One dish was enough to cover her family's food expenses for more than a week. Plus, this place had a buffet system. After seeing the dish on the menu, she just had to enter a code into the machine, and it would show if the kitchen could cook the dish or not. But Tang Yun didn't know how to use this thing. "I don't know how to order." "You do it." Tang Yun was honest. She was poor, and there was no need to pretend in front of Meng Yao. She handed the menu and machine back to Meng Yao. Meng Yao could guess Tang Yun's dilemma. She took the menu and ordered a few dishes without saying anything. She didn't want to eat things like bird's nest and shark's fin since she didn't like it. But considering Tang Yun, she ordered bird's nest porridge and passed the menu to Yushu. Yushu flipped through the menu, only finding shark fins and no shark meat. She was a little disappointed. "Yao Yao, I suggest Uncle Chu add shark meat." Meng Yao was speechless. Why would her daddy care so much? He even had to order the dishes for the hotel? After some thought, he asked, "Do you want to eat shark meat?" "A little, but I don't know if it's as good as Shield Bros." Yushu gulped. Tang Yun felt a little uncomfortable. Did Lin Yi cook for them every day? Then ask the waiter if he can make it. "What else do you want to eat?" Meng Yao asked. "Nope." Yushu shook her head. "All right then. Lin Yi, what about you?" Meng Yao wasn't as calm as before in front of Lin Yi, but that was only in her heart. On the surface, her attitude towards Lin Yi was like ice, just like when Lin Yi first moved in. But was it really the same? Perhaps only Meng Yao herself could explain it clearly. Or perhaps she didn't understand it herself. This is enough. I'm not picky when it comes to food. Lin Yi was telling the truth. Ever since he was young, he'd always been the one to pick his food. Wherever he went, he'd have to get used to the local food. Deep in the mountains, however, there was no food at all. Lin Yi ate whatever he could get his hands on. He had no choice at all. Meng Yao nodded and called the waiter over. She passed the machine to the waiter and asked, "Do you have shark meat here?" "Shark meat?" The waiter paused and said, "Please wait, I'll ask for you." With that, the waiter picked up the walkie-talkie and asked. After getting a confirmation from the kitchen, he said, "Yes, miss. How would you like to cook it?" "Can it be barbecued?" "I want to eat barbecued shark meat," Yushu said. "All right, I'll ask for you," the waiter said and asked the kitchen in detail. "Yes, but this dish is specially made for you. The price might be a little higher. Is it acceptable?" "It's around 600 yuan. "Sure." Meng Yao nodded faintly. The price was nothing to her. She didn't have a concept of money. Although she wouldn't buy a whole house full of luxury goods like those gold diggers, she didn't care about the price either. The waiter ordered the barbecued shark meat through the walkie-talkie before bringing the drinks over. Meng Yao ordered fruit juice, since they were both girls, and Lin Yi was driving. There was no need to drink to keep up appearances. "Tang Yun, thank you for what you did today." Meng Yao raised her glass and said to Tang Yun. She hesitated and mocked herself, "But it seems like we still can't be friends." Meng Yao was really touched by Tang Yun's action of calling Lin Yi today. But even if she was touched, she wouldn't compromise for her own happiness. Tang Yun wanted to take Lin Yi away from the villa. She couldn't do that. If Lin Yi left, where would she find another person who cared for her so much? Of course, the miss never thought that she would like Lin Yi. Lin Yi was such a playboy. How could she like him? "I understand." Tang Yun nodded. She didn't think that the conflict between them could be resolved by the miss treating her to a meal. "I called Lin Yi because I didn't want to use this method to defeat my competitor." "Ah." Meng Yao smiled but didn't explain. Tang Yun didn't understand her dependence on Lin. "Oh, Yao sis, let's not talk about this topic. It's so boring." Yushu couldn't interrupt the conversation between the miss and Tang Yun. She changed the topic. Then let's not talk about it." Meng Yao drank the juice in her glass and signaled to Tang Yun. Tang Yun also picked up her glass and drank the juice. She accepted Meng Yao's thanks. Actually, Tang Yun didn't think that Meng Yao would thank her so seriously. The relationship between the two was too weird. She wasn't used to eating together like this. Chapter 711. Chapter 0711. Dealing with bad guys. Tang Yun, how did you and Shield Bro get together? Yushu really wanted to know the answer. Lin Yi had only been in Songshan for a month, right? Why do you call him Shield Bro? Tang Yun didn't answer and asked back. She didn't understand what Shield Bro meant. Shield Bro, it's because... Yushu didn't finish her sentence and was interrupted by Meng Yao. Ahem, Shield Bro means that Shu feels that Lin Yi is like a shield. He can shield us from the wind and rain and deal with troubles. Meng Yao didn't want Yushu to say what Shield Bro meant. That would be awkward. What if she told Yushu that she hired Lin Yi to be a shield but didn't use him because he wasn't good enough? Tang Yun would laugh herself to death if that happened. Meng Yao regretted letting Lin Yi pretend to be her boyfriend back then. She wouldn't have had a chance with Tang Yun if she'd let him pretend to be her boyfriend. Oh, I see. Tang Yun nodded. She didn't suspect anything. This was what a bodyguard and follower should do. She just didn't know that Lin Yi was hired by Meng Yao to pretend to be her boyfriend. It was just that the nature of the job changed after that. Lin Yi sat on the side and didn't say anything. He didn't know what to say. All this time, Lin Yi couldn't see through the Mississippi. What kind of attitude did she have towards him? Lin even thought that the miss really liked him when he saw the miss fighting with Tang Yun. But when he got home, it didn't seem to be the case. The miss had hidden herself very well, and no one knew what she was thinking. Perhaps what Yushu saw was only the surface of the miss's personality. Similarly, Yushu should be the same. The miss only saw Yushu on the surface. Lin Yi didn't believe that Yushu was that dumb. The feeling she gave Lin Yi was that Yushu was smarter than anyone. It was just that she liked living like this. She was happy and carefree. But while the two sisters hid their feelings deeply, their feelings for each other were real, and their care for each other was real as well. This was something that Lin Yi admired, especially after Yushu found out that Meng Yao had fainted. Not many people were able to do that, even if it meant going through thick and thin together. It's your turn. How did you get together with Shield Bro? Yushu continued. Lin Yi and I. Tang Yun looked at Lin Yi, and seeing that he didn't stop her, she started to speak. Thinking about what happened between her and Lin Yi, it was funny. Lin Yi probably didn't have that kind of feelings for her. It was just that after the incident with Zhou Ruoming, she naturally had a defensive mentality. She also thought that Lin Yi was a rich kid who wanted to hit on her. But a series of things happened. Lin Yi helped her a few times. The relationship between the two seemed to get closer. But if they were to talk about a real breakthrough, it was probably when Lin Yi came to her house for the first time. He met Xiaofan and wanted to jump off the building. Was that when she started to like Lin Yi? Tang Yun shook her head. She didn't remember. She didn't know how she fell in love with Lin Yi and got together with him. Tang Yun seemed to be talking to herself, but it also seemed like she was reminiscing. She told Yushu and Meng Yao about what happened between her and Lin. It was only now that Meng Yao understood how helpless Tang Yun was when she was harassed by Zhou Ruoming. Because of her identity, she never thought that a guy could be so bad, so immoral, and so shameless when it came to pursuing a girl. Other than Pinliang, Meng Yao didn't have any other harassers at school. Everyone knew who she was, and no one dared to do anything to her. Even Pinliang had Yushu teasing him every day. Meng Yao didn't have that kind of helplessness or fear in front of Pinliang. But then again, Pinliang dared to kidnap her even though she was the Mississippi. Wouldn't Ruoming be even more reckless if Tang Yun didn't have an identity or background? She thought to herself. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, one could imagine what would happen to Tang Yun. Before, Meng Yao thought that the bullying and harassing of girls in school was very far away from her. She even thought that it was just a rumor. However, after hearing Tang Yun's words, she realized that these things were happening around her. It was just that she didn't know about it. Thinking about the relationship between Lin Yi and Tang Yun, it was a beautiful love story. The hero saving the beauty. How cliché. But it was an unchanging story that had been passed down for thousands of years. Wasn't the legend of the white snake the same? After listening to Tang Yun's story, Meng Yao didn't hate Tang Yun that much. She even sympathized with her. But sympathy was sympathy. Who would sympathize with her? She finally had the feeling of being cared for and cared for. She wouldn't allow anyone to take that away. Oh, if anyone pursues you in the future, leave it to me. I guarantee that they will return in failure. Look, Yao Yao Sis's pursuers already had their kidneys cut out. Yushu said, I specialize in dealing with evil people. Yushu was joking, but Meng Yao understood what she was implying. She believed that Tang Yin understood as well. She didn't need Lin Yi's help. She could stop her love rival from harassing her. That's all. Tang Yun also felt that Yushu wasn't stupid at all. She was terrifyingly smart, because you couldn't tell which words were true and which were false. It seemed like a joke, but there were a lot of hidden meanings. Oh, that's boring. Yushu was a little disappointed. Pinliang's a cripple now, and Ruoming's a coward now. We don't even know who to play with in school anymore. Shu, your mission is to study hard. Don't play with people. Meng Yao said to Yushu. Okay, I won't play then. I'll listen to Yao Yao sis. Yushu nodded and turned to Lin. Shield bro, you need to study hard too. Otherwise, you won't be able to get into the same university as us. Tang Yun was speechless. Get into the same university? Are you guys not going to let Lin Yi go for the rest of his life? You want him to be your follower for life? Why would he get into the same university? Watch him flirt? Meng Yao frowned and said subconsciously. But after saying that, she felt that it wasn't appropriate. Tang Yun was still sitting in front of her. Wasn't she talking about Lin Yi and Tang Yun? Chapter 7:12. I can't be with you forever. Of course. Tang Yun nodded. That was her decision all along. Since she'd taken this step, she'd keep going. If Lin Yi didn't want her, she'd die in front of him. Oh, then can you accept Shield Bro's womanizing? Yushu continued. Or, can you accept him having other wives? Tang Yun was stunned by Yushu's question. What kind of question was that? What did he mean by she could accept him having other wives? How could he accept it? I'm sure it's not just me, other girls won't be able to accept it either, Tang Yun was about to say that she couldn't accept it, but she swallowed it back down. Was this a trap set up by Yushu? It seemed that there were girls who could accept the fact that Lin Yi had another wife, Mengao and Yushu. Didn't the two of them claim that they wanted to be Lin Yi's first and second wives? They even wanted to play 3P together. Tang Yun was at a loss. This Yushu wasn't as dumb as she looked. Talking to her was really scary. One misstep and he would fall into the trap. Every single one of Yushu's questions was so tricky that it wasn't easy to answer. Tang Yin thought that Yushu might use that as an excuse to attack her if she didn't accept it. She might say, "You can't accept it, but we can." Wouldn't that make him seem a little stingy and weak? But to say that she could accept it, Tang Yun really couldn't. But why did he have to accept other wives? Wasn't he just looking for trouble for himself? But seeing that Yushu was looking at her, Tang Yun knew that she had to answer. She'd already made up her mind to be Xiaoxiao's mistress, so what if she accepted a wife? Thus, he gritted his teeth and forced himself to say, "That depends on what kind of wife it is." Tang Yun's answer was ambiguous. The initiative was in her hands. In other words, whether she accepted or not, it was up to her. She also did not give any criteria for judging. However, even so, Tang Yun's answer was out of Lin Yi's expectations. Tang Yun could accept him having another girl? "Oh, what do you think about me being Shield Bro's concubine? Sister Yao Yao is the first wife, and you are the second wife? Or you can be the main wife, you guys decide. I'll be the second wife." Yushu said. Tang Yun didn't expect Yushu to say something like this. Wasn't this putting her in a difficult position? Should I accept it or not? He was a little reluctant to accept it, but if he said no, wouldn't that be saying that Yushu wasn't good enough? Wouldn't that offend someone? "Little Shu, what nonsense are you talking about?" Meng Yao frowned. Yushu was getting more and more out of hand. She quickly stopped her. "Why isn't the food here yet? Let's see if I can shut your mouth later." "I'll stop, I was just saying," Yushu said with a wave of her hand. Tang Yun Shu is always like this. She's always talking nonsense. I want to send her to the mental hospital. Meng Yao explained, blushing a little. Yushu had brought her in earlier, and it made Meng Yao feel uncomfortable all over. "Oh, Yao Yao sis, don't send me to the mental hospital," Yushu exclaimed. "There's nothing fun there." Meng Yao was speechless. Tang Yun was the same. Yushu didn't want to go to the mental hospital because there's nothing fun there? "It's nothing, I'm getting used to it." Tang Yun touched her forehead and smiled bitterly. Lin didn't interrupt. How was he supposed to interrupt? This topic seemed to be beneficial to him. Soon the food was served. The shark meat Yushu ordered was also placed on the table. It didn't take long for all the dishes to be ready. One had to admit that Pengzhan Hotel was quite efficient. "Alright, the dishes are ready. I wanted to say something to thank you, but I'm not really good with words. Linny knows that I don't really talk much." Meng Yao wanted to say something before the meal, but she rarely spoke in a situation like this. She didn't know what to say. But before she could finish, she saw Yushu sneakily picking up a piece of shark meat and putting it into her mouth. Meng Yao angrily smashed Yushu's hand with her chopsticks, knocking the shark meat into her bowl. "Su, what are you doing?" "I'm trying to see if it's good." Yushu looked like she was about to cry. She rubbed her wrist. "Oh, I almost got crippled. The guest hasn't eaten yet, how can you eat first?" Meng Yao scolded. "How would I know? I'm always the one eating first at home." Yushu said weakly. "It's nothing, let her eat first." Tang Yun saw how pitiful Yushu was and stopped Meng Yao from getting angry. She didn't have any rules, it didn't matter who ate first. "I'm sorry. This Shu." Meng Yao rubbed her temples. "You need to have a good mentality to live with her." Tang Yun shook her head. Yushu was a little weird, but living with her would be fun. There were two sides to everything. However, Tang Yun quickly threw this thought to the back of her head. Live with Yushu? She couldn't really let her be Lin Yi's small wife, right? Yushu continued eating the shark meat but shook her head after one bite. It's not as good as Shield Bro's cooking. Lin Yi can't be with you for the rest of your life. You need to learn how to adapt to life. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Yushu didn't say anything and continued eating the shark meat. The atmosphere became heavy. Tang Yun didn't know what to say. She looked at Yushu's pitiful face and didn't know what to say. Could she let Lin Yi be her nanny for the rest of his life? What about herself? Although Meng Yao tried her best to maintain the atmosphere of the meal, the more she tried, the stranger the atmosphere became. Tang Yun felt uncomfortable. She felt that Meng Yao and Yushu were two strong rivals. After the meal, Meng Yao took out her VIP card when they were paying the bill, and the waiter in charge of the room froze. She didn't expect Meng Yao to have a diamond card here. The diamond card was a VIP card issued by Pengzhan Industries. There were less than 100 of them. Chapter 713. Pig's Brain. The waiter's attitude was much more respectful than before as he carefully took Meng Yao's diamond card and left the room. After a while, the door opened again, but it wasn't the waiter who came in. It was a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man walked quickly to Meng Yao and said respectfully, "Miss, you're here. Why didn't you call me? I could have arranged a VIP room for you." This middle-aged man was the CEO of Pengzhan Hotel. His surname was Liu, and he was 35 or 36 years old. Now that Pengzhan's words were like the sun in the sky, most of the decisions in the board of directors were made by Pengzhan alone. As a result, the people in charge of the other industries were all feeling insecure. Those who were close to the other shareholders were now trying to switch their allegiance to Pengzhan. It couldn't be helped. Pengzhan wasn't only the biggest shareholder of the group, but he also had the second biggest shareholder, Lin Yi, as his proxy. This meant that he had the two most important votes in the group, and no one dared to oppose him. Manager Liu didn't know that the second biggest shareholder of the company was sitting right in front of him. If he knew, he'd be scared to death. "I don't want to trouble you." Meng Yao frowned. She didn't think that Manager Liu would come in person. She wouldn't have taken out the VIP card if she knew. Meng Yao didn't go to the VIP room because she really didn't want to. She really didn't like the feeling of being recognized as the Miss and being surrounded by people like stars around the moon. Meng Yao really didn't like that feeling. So Meng Yao chose to keep a low profile and ask for a private room. But now that Manager Liu was here, Meng Yao was afraid that Tang Yun would misunderstand and think that she was looking down on her by not bringing her to the VIP room. The Miss hesitated and thought of a solution. "Manager Liu, you still have a VIP card, right? Get one for my friend and I'll talk to Faubert." The people in charge of the industries had the right to introduce and apply for VIP cards, but the highest level diamond card had to be approved by the headquarters before it could be applied. So if it wasn't a very important client, Manager Liu wouldn't apply for a diamond card. Meng Yao said that she wanted to talk to Faubert, so naturally, she wanted to apply for a diamond card. Manager Liu quickly nodded. How could the group not approve something that Missy had asked for? Moreover, eldest Miss was going to tell Faubert. Tang Yun, on the other hand, didn't think too much about it. If Meng Yao acted like a Miss the moment she arrived, it would look like she was showing off in front of Tang Yun. On the other hand, Tang Yun felt that the Miss was still keeping a low profile. Tang Yin only realized that the VIP card Meng Yao wanted was for her when they went downstairs. She shook her head quickly. "I can't afford it even if it's for me. The prices here are too high." Tang Yun told the truth. There was nothing to be embarrassed about. The Miss knew about her family's situation. "You can also go to Pengzhan Mall, there's a discount there too," Meng Yao explained. "I usually go to the night market to buy it." Tang Yun still rejected. This thing was useless to her, and the card was precious. She didn't want to owe Meng Yao a favor. "Then let's give it to Lin Yi." Since Meng Yao had already said it, it wouldn't be nice to refuse. It would be the same if it was given to Lin Yi. Manager Liu felt that the name Lin Yi was familiar. Where had he heard it before? However, it wasn't nice to ask in front of the Mississippi. He quickly applied for a diamond card for Lin. After the Miss left, Manager Liu picked up the phone and reported to Faubert. The moment he mentioned Lin Yi, Faubert's answer shocked Manager Liu. Lin Yi was the second biggest shareholder of the company that had shown his face once. He was said to be Peng Zhan's son-in-law. Why would someone like him need a membership card? However, thinking about how the miss was low-profile, and how Lin Yi was also a low-profile person, Manager Lu felt extremely honored. He was able to apply for a card for the second biggest shareholder of the group, especially when the person who introduced him was him. Li Delay watched as Lin Yi, Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Tang Yun walked out of the Western restaurant. He regretted his lust. He was scared when he saw his underlings lying on the ground. However, he didn't forget Lin Yi's words. He quickly picked up the phone and called his cousin. There were so many needles in his hands and body. He didn't know what was so special about them. However, he didn't dare to pull them out casually. After all, Lin Yi told him that he would die if he pulled them out. Although he didn't believe it, he had to believe it when he thought about Lin Yi's skills. The reason was simple. Li Delay was the leader of these people. Lin even beat his underlings to the ground. How could he let him go? Hello? Lazy? What's up? Sihua was troubled. The poisoning plan failed and he didn't know how to deal with Lin. He received a call from his cousin, but he didn't know what he was going to do. Cousin, you have to help me. The place was destroyed and I'm stuck with needles all over my body. I don't dare to pull them out. Li Delay said with a sad face. His only hope was for Sihua to avenge him. Your restaurant was destroyed? You're covered in needles? What do you mean? What happened? Tell me in detail. Sihua's heart skipped a beat. The more troubled he was, the more trouble he'd get himself into. His brother was usually fine, and everyone in the underworld knew that he was his cousin. They'd give him some face, so why was there a problem today? It's like this. Li Delay didn't dare to hide it and told Sihua everything. He couldn't hide it even if he wanted to. There were people in the Western restaurant, and the scarred man was Sihua's direct subordinate. He was just sent to watch over the place. Fuck. You're a pig brain. Do you have nothing better to do? There are women everywhere. Aren't you afraid of ruining your business by flirting with customers? Don't you know that your restaurant still has to pay to the owner every month? Sihua was furious. His brother was too arrogant. However, he couldn't just ignore his brother. They pierced needles in your hands and body? Don't you know how to go to the hospital? What's the point of calling me? Li Delay froze. Yeah, why was he so obedient? What he should do now was to go to the hospital, not call his cousin. His cousin wasn't a doctor, and he couldn't treat the needles in his body. Chapter 714. Nothing? Li Delay hung up the phone and found a lackey who wasn't lying on the ground to accompany him to the First People's Hospital. Li Delay felt embarrassed under everyone's surprised gazes. Everyone in the hospital looked at him as if he was a monster. After all, he was covered in silver needles like a porcupine. Those who didn't know the truth would think that something was wrong with him. Li Delay didn't dare to stay any longer and went straight to the surgery consultation room. He was a gangster and his underlings often got injured from conflicts with others, so he was familiar with the surgeons here. Wang bro, help. Quick, help me check the silver needles on my body. Li Delay saw a familiar face. It was Dr. Wang from the surgery department. Dr. Wang didn't have anything to do at the moment and was stunned when he saw Delay. He asked curiously, Boss Li, what happened to you? Did you get acupuncture? Acupuncture my ass. I was stabbed by someone. Li Delay was speechless. He gritted his teeth when he thought of Lin. That person told me that he wouldn't let me pull it out. He said that he would die if I pulled it out. That's why I rushed to the hospital. Dr. Wang, you're knowledgeable. Can you take a look at me? He would die if he pulled it out? It was the first time Dr. Wang heard of this. How many needles were stuck in his body? He was fine when they were inserted, but he would die if he pulled it out? Was he trying to scare him? Dr. Wang didn't believe it, but he didn't dare to ignore Li Delay's explanation. I've never seen it before. How about I get the chief of our department to take a look at you? That's fine. Thank you, Wang bro. Li Delay felt embarrassed and didn't want too many people to know about it. However, he couldn't care too much since it was a matter of life and death. After a while, Dr. Wang brought an old man over and let Li Delay take a look. The old man didn't see anything special about the needles. If the needles were poisoned, Li Delay would have died a long time ago. It didn't matter whether he pulled it out or not. If it wasn't poisoned, he wouldn't die even if he pulled it out. The needles were only inserted in a shallow area and didn't hurt his organs. How could he die after pulling it out? However, the old man wasn't stupid. He didn't say anything since he knew about Li Dilei's condition. I personally think it's fine. I can pull it out for you, but if anything happens, the hospital won't be responsible. Li Dilei suddenly felt guilty. He thought that it wouldn't be a problem to pull out a few small needles in the hospital, but the old specialist in the hospital said that he wasn't confident, so how could he pull them out? Li had no choice. He could only call Dilei's phone again. Li Dilei called Sihua again. But the hospital said that they won't be responsible if anything happens after the needle is removed. Li Dilei panicked. Brother, can you help me think of a solution? What should I do? Sihua didn't expect his cousin to be so useless, but the severity of the situation made it seem like he couldn't just ignore it. Wait, I'll go take a look now. Sihua asked which hospital and ward Li Dilei was in and rushed over. Li looked at Li. Li Dilei was, Li, and isn't he a porcupine? Why are there thorns all over his body? Even the hospital can't pull it out? Li Sihua looked at the needles on Li Dilei's body and didn't think there was anything wrong. Yeah, Wang Bro and the specialist said that they can't pull it out. They won't be responsible if anything happens. Li Dilei nodded. Wait here, I'll go ask. Li Sihua walked into the surgery room and saw Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang naturally knew Li Sihua. He was one of the most powerful people in the city. He didn't dare to neglect him and quickly walked over. Sihua bro. Dr. Wang, how's my cousin's condition? Sihua nodded. He didn't bother with small talk and went straight to the point. Actually, according to my judgment, he's fine. Dr. Wang told the truth. The needles aren't deep, so it's impossible to hurt his organs. It's nonsense to say that he'll die if he pulls it out. If you say that the needles are poisonous, it doesn't matter if you pull it out or not. You'll be poisoned even if you don't pull it out. Besides, there are needles on Boss Li's hands, so there aren't any fatal spots. What do you mean? Li Sihua felt that Dr. Wang was right. What fatal spots could there be on the hands? The problem is that your brother's words are scary. He said that he'll die if the needles are pulled out. No one can bear this responsibility. It's better to be safe than sorry, isn't it? Dr. Wang smiled bitterly. Li Sihua nodded. He understood Dr. Wang's difficulty. Li Dilei was his cousin, and if something happened, he was afraid that Li Dilei would cause trouble for him. How about we pull out the needles on his hands first? I think there won't be any problems. Even if there's a problem, I'll take responsibility. What do you think? Li Sihua pondered and asked. He couldn't let his brother live like a porcupine, right? He had to solve it eventually. After this, Li Sihua still had to return to Master Bing's place to discuss countermeasures. They had to deal with Lin. It wasn't as simple as breaking Master Bing's legs and killing Zhang Long and Li Yao. They had to destroy a skyscraper. Lin Yi casually used a few forklifts and bombs, and 100 million was gone. Master Bing only demolished his girlfriend's bungalow, but Li Yao demolished a skyscraper. How cruel. He can pull out the needles himself. Sihua bro, why don't you help him? Dr. Wang naturally didn't want to do it. Who would do such a risky thing? All right, then help me look after him. If there's a problem, we can deal with it in time. Li Sihua nodded and agreed. Li Dilei saw his cousin coming out with Dr. Wang and quickly asked, Bro, how is it? I'll help you pull out the needles first. There aren't any fatal spots on your hands, so it should be fine. Many people live with broken arms and legs, don't they? Li Sihua said. Li Dilei thought about it and agreed. He nodded and said to Sihua, all right, pull out the needles on my hands first. Pulling out a needle wasn't a big deal. Sihua easily pulled out the needles on Li Dilei's left hand. Li Dilei's hand didn't even bleed. Chapter 7:15. It can't be cured, only an idiot like you would believe it. Sihua sneered. Haven't you seen Tang Bohu touch autumn fragrance? Isn't that what Hanshao half-step bumpy is like? Li Dilei blushed. He was too careful. How could he be tricked like this? How embarrassing. How could he live in the underworld if this got out? I'm sorry bro, I made you suffer. Li Delay said embarrassedly and turned to Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang, please keep this a secret. Don't worry, it's normal for a doctor to keep a secret for his patient, not to mention Boss Li. Dr. Wang was happy to pretend that he didn't know since it had nothing to do with him. Alright, don't embarrass yourself here. Hurry up and pull out the rest of the needles. Sihua glared at Li Delay. Yes, yes. Li Delay nodded and wanted to use his left hand to pull out the needles on other parts of his body. However, he realized that his left hand couldn't move when he lifted his arm. He wanted to pinch the needles, but he couldn't feel his fingers at all. Even his entire hand couldn't feel anything. What are you doing? Sihua didn't know what happened to Li Delay when he didn't move. Bro, my hand. I can't move my hand. Li Delay stared at his left hand in fear. He couldn't feel his left hand at all. He could move his arm, but he couldn't control anything above his wrist. Can't move? What do you mean? Sihua was stunned. Bro, I can't move my left hand. It doesn't feel like it's mine. I can't feel it at all. Li Delay said and shook his left arm, but he still couldn't feel anything. How is this possible? Sihua frowned and looked at Li Delay's left hand carefully. He didn't find anything wrong, so he turned to Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang, what do you think is going on? Dr. Wang was surprised. Li Delay's left hand was fine before the needles were pulled out. How come he couldn't feel anything after the needles were pulled out? Is it numb? Let's wait and see. Dr. Wang had never seen anything like this before. No, it's definitely not numb. I don't feel anything at all. It's as if this hand isn't mine anymore. Li Delay shook his head continuously. What's wrong? Li Delay shook his head. Does it have anything to do with the silver needle? Sihua looked at Li Delay's hand suspiciously. It's hard to say. Dr. Wang didn't know whether it was related or not. In short, he had never seen a similar situation. So now, Sihua could only hope that Dr. Wang had a solution. Now we can only take an X-ray first. If there are no problems, do a comprehensive examination and wait for the conclusion to come out, Dr. Wang suggested. All right. Sihua nodded and asked Dr. Wang to bring Li Delay for a checkup. As for the other needles on Li Delay's body, he didn't dare to pull them out. He could only leave them there. Although it was a little unsightly and eye-catching, who could guarantee that the situation of losing feeling in the left hand would not happen again after these silver needles were removed? Whether or not there was a connection between the two was still hard to say. Soon, Li Delay's results came out. However, the results made both Li Delay and Sihua pale. Hand nerve necrosis? The Li brothers widened their eyes when they saw the results. This is only the nerve, but according to the system's examination, the muscle tissue of the hand is also showing signs of necrosis. Dr. Wang also felt that it was inexplicable. The nerves and muscles were all necrotic after being pricked by a silver needle? Wasn't this a little too inconceivable? The strangest thing was that there was no poison on the needle at all. It was just a normal needle. Then what should we do now? Can it be cured? Sihua asked. We can try, but it's best to amputate the left hand immediately to prevent the necrosis from affecting the arm, Dr. Wang said. Sihua frowned. There was no need to describe how shocked he was. Who did Li Delay offend? Why was he being harmed like this? He couldn't help but yell at Li Delay. What's his background? Who exactly did you provoke? I don't know. He's just here to eat. Li Delay was also terrified. He was dumbfounded when he heard Dr. Wang saying that he might have to amputate his hand. Wasn't this too scary? Here to eat? Think carefully. Is there any information? What's his name? What does he look like? Sihua asked. I remember. There's a girl called Tang Yun among them. Li Delay was sensitive to beautiful girls' names, so he remembered Tang Yun's name. Tang Yun. Sihua's expression froze. It couldn't be such a coincidence, right? Tang Yun? Wasn't that Lin Yi's girlfriend? Yes, that's her name. I can't remember the guy who attacked me, but his surname is Lin. Li Delay didn't notice his cousin's expression as he tried to recall with his eyes closed. Is his name Lin? Sihua took a deep breath and tried to control his emotions. Yes, his name is Lin. Brother, do you know this person? Can you ask him to save me? Li Delay was overjoyed when he heard that his cousin knew this person. I do. A complicated expression flashed across Zihua's eyes. But he won't come to save you. He won't come? Li Delay was in despair. Why? Brother, please beg him. I can give him as much money as he wants. I can even hold a banquet to apologize to him. I don't want to lose my hands. I have a deep grudge against him. No wonder he wasn't afraid after hearing my name. Zihua sighed. You shouldn't have used my name, you're just looking for trouble for yourself. Zihua sighed. You shouldn't have used my name. Ah? A deep grudge? Li Delay was dumbfounded. How would he know that Lin Yi and Zihua had a grudge against each other? Whenever he used his cousin's name, people would respect him. Li Delay didn't expect to meet Zihua's enemy. Chapter 716. Seeking help from Yawang. Zihua immediately called Master Bing. After hearing Li Delay's condition, Master Bing didn't care and agreed to let Yawang take a look at him. After all, half of Li Delay's restaurant's income was given to House Xiao. As House Xiao's illegitimate son, Master Bing naturally couldn't ignore the people who worked for House Xiao. Besides, Zihua also wanted to introduce his cousin to Master Bing. Working for Master Bing would give him a bright future. Li Delay sighed in relief after knowing that Master Bing was willing to help. He heard that Master Bing had many masters around him, so he wasn't afraid that his problem couldn't be solved. In a private room at the back of the floating cloud, Yawang frowned as he looked at Li Delay's body. Yawang, how is it? My cousin's problem. Zihua knew that the problem was serious when Yawang didn't speak. Yawang came from an ancient medical family. Not only was he an expert in poisons, but he was also an expert in medicine, especially the art of harming people. That was why Yawang didn't think much when he heard that Li Delay was stabbed with a few silver needles and lost feeling in his left hand after they were pulled out. He thought that it was some kind of poison or acupoint sealing technique. Speaking of harming people, his family was the ancestor of harming people. Was there a problem that couldn't be solved? It was just a small trick. However, when Yawang saw Li Delay, he realized that his thinking was too simple. There was no poison on Li Delay's silver needles. Yawang had tested it on a white mouse with the silver needle he pulled out. It didn't seem like it was done through acupoint sealing either. Li Delay's hand wasn't immobile like it was after his acupoint was sealed. Instead, it was slowly necrotizing. His entire hand had turned a dark purple color as if the tissue of his hand was destroyed. It's not looking good. The opponent is a master. Who did it? Do you know who he is? Yawang didn't dare to be careless. It was the first time he saw such a method of harming people. It was far beyond the methods in his sect. It was unbelievable. Lin Yi. Zihua gritted his teeth when he said the name. What? Lin Yi? Yawang was no stranger to this name. Uncle Zhu was beaten half to death by Lin Yi and was still lying in bed. Zhao Qibing's legs were also broken by Lin Yi and he could only rest in a wheelchair. Lin Yi again? Zhao Qibing heard the name and panicked. Isn't he injured? How can it harm others? It's hard to say. Yawang shook his head. From the way he uses the silver needles, it's hard to say if Lin is a medical expert. So you're saying that Lin Yi recovered his strength by himself? Qibing's eyes widened and Uncle Zhu, who was lying on the bed, almost spat out blood. Uncle Zhu felt wronged. He almost died and went to see the King of Hell, but Lin Yi was perfectly fine. He was still alive and kicking. How could he harm people? Was there any justice? I'm not sure if he recovered his strength, but even if he's not at his peak, it shouldn't affect his movements. Yawang's expression was serious as he carefully checked the silver needles on Li Delay's body. Of course, Li Delay was the most pitiful. Even Yawang couldn't do anything? Didn't that mean he could only wait for death? His left hand had turned black and purple. It was clearly necrotic. He would definitely lose his hand. But Li Delay wasn't in the mood to think about whether he lost his hand or not. It was already good enough that he could stay alive. Master Bing Yawang, save me. Li Delay's face was covered in tears and mucus. He was scared out of his wits. Yawang suddenly paused and his expression became more serious. There's pure energy under the silver needles? Li Delay was just a normal person. He didn't practice any internal or external martial arts, so it was impossible for him to have pure energy in his body. Even if there was a trace of pure energy, he wouldn't be able to detect it. However, Wang felt an obvious fluctuation of pure energy under the needle. What was going on? What do you mean? Wang, my cousin can be saved? Sihua froze and asked quickly. Li Dile looked at Wang helplessly. He didn't want to die. I'm not sure yet, but I need to do some research. Wang said, I need to pull out another needle, but it might cause the same result as this left hand. I might also find a way to cure it. Li Dile was dumbfounded. Pull out another needle? Where should he pull it out? He looked at the silver needles all over his body and didn't know where to pull it out. Think about it yourself. This is the only way, Wang said. How about pulling out the silver needles on my left arm? My left hand is useless anyway. It won't affect me too much if I do it again. Sihua thought about it and asked. Okay. Li Dile gritted his teeth. He had no other choice. He couldn't not sleep at night, right? If he accidentally dropped the silver needles while he was sleeping, he would be waiting for death. Wang nodded and signaled Li Dile to extend his left arm. Then, he quickly pulled out the silver needles on Li Dile's left arm. After the silver needles were removed, Wang moved again at lightning speed and grabbed the spot where the silver needles were. I can't move my left arm either. Although Li Dile predicted this outcome, he still had some expectations. Now that he couldn't feel his left arm, he wanted to cry but no tears came out. Wang, how is it? Sihua saw Wang open his eyes and quickly asked. My left arm is useless. Wang took a deep breath and said, but I think I know what they did. What did they do? Sihua asked. Lin Yi attached his pure energy to the tip of the silver needles and injected it into Li Dile's body. Then, he used the needles to seal the pure energy so that it wouldn't spread in Li Dile's body, Wang said. As long as the silver needles are pulled out, the pure energy will spread rapidly. Li Dile is a normal person, and his body can't handle such a strong pure energy invading his body. This caused the pure energy to rupture his meridians and muscle tissues, causing his nerves and tissues to die. He felt it with his hand before. Although there was pure energy on the silver needles, it was only at one point. After the silver needles were pulled out, the pure energy at that point spread rapidly. Chapter 717. Even a god can't save him. Lin is a medical master. He's not weaker than me. Although I can see through this method, I don't have a solution, at least not yet. Wang smiled bitterly. Even his master wouldn't be able to do this, let alone him. This method was too cunning. He would die as soon as the needles were pulled out. Uncle Zhu was shocked as well. He knew that he didn't lose unjustly. His opponent was a medical master who wasn't any weaker than Wang. Wasn't he still alive and kicking? What should we do now? Sihua asked. There's nothing I can do for now. Wang shook his head. Unless someone can dissolve the pure energy in Li Dile's body the moment I remove the needles, it will cause severe damage to his body and meridians. Sihua's face turned ugly. Even Wang couldn't do anything, so how could Li Dile be saved? The needles couldn't be pulled out for a day or two, but they couldn't be pulled out forever, right? Judging from the position of the needles, Li Dile's body would probably be necrotic after they were pulled out. Whoever started the trouble should untie it. We belong to different sects, so our methods are different. I don't understand their methods, so there's nothing I can do. Wang blamed it all on the fact that he wasn't from the same sect as Lin. It wasn't because he was useless, but because different sects had different methods. Wang, you want me to look for Lin Yi? Sihua's expression was strange. What was the use of looking for Lin Yi now? Their hatred was like fire and water, so there was no way to resolve it. Or, I can ask someone from my sect and see if they have a solution, Wang said. Thank you, Yang. Sihua quickly thanked him. Sihua thanked Lin Yi profusely. He wouldn't have begged Lin Yi if there was even a sliver of hope, since asking for Lin Yi's help would just be asking for humiliation. All I can do is ask. After all, different sects have different research directions. The Medicine King was trying to absolve his sect of responsibility. I understand. Sihua nodded. Wang then called his sect, but they couldn't come up with a solution. Firstly, they didn't see Li Delay in person, and secondly, it was the first time they heard of such a method. How was it? Sihua quickly asked after Yao Wang ended the call. Li Delay looked hopeful as well. There's a way, but there's no way to do it. Yao Wang would not directly say that there was no way. That would make his sect seem too useless. You can't control it? No matter how difficult it is, as long as you can save Li Delay's life. Sihua quickly said, "What do you need?" "Just tell me, Yao Wang. I need a master above the earth class to quickly dissolve the pure energy in Li Delay's body when I remove the needles." The Medicine King said, "However, this would consume a lot of that person's innate qi. Normally, no one would risk their strength to do this." What the Yao Wang said was a more common method, but no one would take the risk. After all, who didn't train hard to get their strength? Why should he waste his true qi for an outsider? Wouldn't he be an idiot? Yao Wang's words were like a bucket of cold water. Sihua instantly lost his temper. Where could he find an earth class master? The mystic class was already a phoenix's feather, let alone an earth class? Even if he found one, he wasn't related to Li Delay. Why would he risk his own level to save Li Delay? Sihua really didn't want to look for Lin Yi, but he couldn't just watch his cousin die, right? "Bro, why don't you look for Lin Yi? We have to try. If he doesn't care, then I'll just die and blame my bad luck." Li Delay didn't have any thoughts of revenge at all. There was no other reason. Even Master Bing was crippled by Lin. Who was he? With his strength, going to Lin Yi for revenge was bullsh*t. If Lin Yi was so easy to take revenge on, would Master Bing still be sitting in a wheelchair? Sihua thought about it and couldn't help but look at Master Bing. After all, Master Bing and Lin Yi had a huge grudge. If he begged Lin Yi now, wouldn't he be showing his weakness? Delay did a lot for House Xiao. I can't just watch him die, can I? Master Bing waved his hand. Just pretend that I don't know. It's also a good chance to test Lin Yi. One had to admit that Master Bing was good at buying people's hearts. This was also the reason why House Zhong's father and son worked so hard for him. He didn't need to spend a single cent to do Sihua and Li Delay a favor. Sihua and Li Delay were grateful. Sihua said, "Thank you, Master Bing. We're very lucky to be able to work for you. Alright, hurry up and look for Lin. Earning more money for House Zhao and me is more important than anything else." Master Bing waved his hand. Master Bing waved his hand. His hatred for Lin Yi deepened as he pondered on how to get rid of Lin Yi once and for all. It would be best if he could kill him in one move so that he couldn't fight back. Otherwise, with a dangerous person like Lin Yi and Songshan, he had to be cautious in everything he did. He didn't know how he met Lin Yi. How could he live if Lin Yi messed with him again? Sihua dialed Lin Yi's number right away, not daring to delay. Lin Yi's number wasn't anything secretive, and it was easy to get it. Sihua had gotten it from Zhang Wen long ago. Lin Yi, Meng Yao, Yu Shu, and Tang Yun just got in the car when his phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello." Lin Yi picked up. "Is this Lin Yi?" "I'm Sihua." Sihua was furious on the inside, but he looked calm on the outside. "Oh, Sihua bro, what's up?" Lin Yi heard Sihua's calm tone and asked faintly as if he didn't know why Sihua called. However, this "Sihua bro" sounded a little ironic in Sihua's ears. Did Lin Yi need to call him bro? It seemed like he didn't need it at all. This was the second time Sihua had a direct conversation with Lin Yi. The first time was in the floating cloud bar, where he'd used threats and promises, but Lin Yi didn't even give a damn about him. Lin Yi had even killed the 2 golden class masters beside him, and Sihua had lost a lot of money. Forget it, let's not beat around the bush. You're the one who caused my cousin Li Delay's injury, right? Sihua decided not to pretend anymore. The conflict between him and Lin Yi was irreconcilable. Chapter 7:18. Make him wish he was dead. Sihua was quite pissed off. It really was this idiot who pulled out the needles. But he knew that he couldn't get angry right now. "Lin Yi, I hope you can let my cousin go. I don't want to drag other people into our feud. Are you an idiot?" Sihua's words made Lin Yi a little impatient. "He'd be dead already if I were to count what happened between us. How could he still be standing? Besides, I only did it because he pissed me off." Sihua was speechless at Lin Yi's words. He had to admit that Lin Yi's words were quite infuriating. Can you let him go? Sihua said awkwardly after a couple of coughs. He's not dead yet, why would I let him go? You don't have to call me if he's dying. Lin Yi said. Besides, don't you have a master with you? He can make deadly 7 herbs poison. You think he can't solve a small problem like this? Alright, I'm busy, and the pretty girl needs me to drive. Bye. Lin Yi didn't wait for Tsihua's reply before hanging up. Tsihua looked at the disconnected phone, troubled. You're very busy, huh? Did he think he was a cowboy? But he didn't dare say that out loud. He had to keep calling Lin. Oh, shield bro, is that landmine dead? Yushu asked after Lin Yi finished the call. I don't think so, but he's dying soon? Lin Yi didn't know how many needles Tsihua had pulled out. Man, it's no fun if he's dead. Yushu said with a shake of her head. Shield bro, can you make him wish he was dead? I guess. Lin Yi said. But I can't see him now, and I can't be bothered to save him. Oh, I guess that Sihua will call again. Maybe you can make his little brother wish he was dead? Yushu suggested. Yushu hadn't even finished her sentence when Lin Yi's phone rang again. Hey, didn't I tell you I have something to do? You don't understand me, do you? Lin Yi wasn't polite at all. Lin Yi, I'm at my wit's end. That's why I'm calling you. I'm sure you understand. Afraid that Lin Yi would hang up again, Sihua said in one breath. Save my brother's life. Tell me whatever you want. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was taken aback. It seemed that the master beside Zhao Qibing wasn't that great after all. At the very least, he wasn't as strong as him. Uncle Tang's leg is broken. You can pay for the medical fees. Lin Yi was prepared to listen to Yushu's opinion and make Li Delay suffer. However, a fate worse than death was still better than death, right? As a result, Lin Yi didn't plan on doing it for free. He wanted Sihua to pay a price for it. No problem, I'll take out 3. Sihua wanted to take out 300,000 but was interrupted by Lin Yi. 3 million. I'll tell you an account. If you don't see the money before dark, you don't have to give it to me. Use this money to buy a better coffin and grave for your cousin. Lin Yi thought that Tang Yin's family would need at least 1 or 2 million to buy a house, so 3 million wasn't too much. He just needed to go out for a stroll and meet an unlucky bastard who gave him the money for the house. All right. Sihua was a man who did big things. Although his heart ached when he heard that Lin Yi wanted 3 million, it wasn't much to save his brother's life. Lin didn't have much cash on hand right now. The 100 million he got from Lu Tianyi and the money from the auction were all invested into the medical company. If he wanted to expand, he would need a lot of money. So, although Lin Yi had a big family business, he didn't have much money on hand. Lin Yi texted Sihua the bank account Mrs. Tang gave him and waited for the money to come in. Tang Yin wanted to say something, but Meng Yao and Yushu were there. She didn't say anything and let Lin Yi do it. Fortunately, Tang Yin comforted herself that it was for her father's medical fees. She didn't feel bad taking it. If she took so much from Lin Yi, she would owe him more and more. Oh, shield bro, didn't you want to make him suffer? Why did you save him? Yushu asked. Doesn't that mean he's still alive? Lin Yi smiled. Haha. Yushu started laughing happily. Shield bro, you're so bad. You're almost the same as me. I'm not as bad as you. Lin Yi shrugged. Yushu was better than him when it came to messing with people. Tang Yin and Meng Yao couldn't help but laugh. The miss didn't know much about money, but she was surprised that Lin Yi was able to get 3 million right off the bat. So Lin Yi was this good? How could he get so much money so easily? Judging from his expression, he didn't seem to care about money at all. Meng Yao started to get nervous. Did she always threaten him with Lin Yi's salary? Wasn't it a joke to him? But Meng Yao was getting more and more confused. Why would Lin Yi come to work for her? With Lin Yi's skills and methods, there was no need for him to work for her for 30,000. Where did her dad find such a master? Yao Yao, Shu, where are you guys going now? Lin Yi turned around and asked. Tang Yin and I are going to the night market to buy something? We're going too, right, Yao Yao sis? Yushu winked at Meng Yao. Oui. Meng Yao wanted to go. I want to eat fried mushrooms. Yao Yao sis, can you come with me? Yushu held Meng Yao's hand. Okay, Okay, let's go together. Meng Yao nodded. Tang Yin pouted unhappily. Why did they have to tag along when she was going on a date with Linny? But Tang Yin couldn't say anything. The miss just treated them. How could she chase them away? That wasn't right. Linny didn't say much. If the miss wanted to go, then go. Lin Yi started the car and drove towards the night market. On the way, Tang Yin received a call. It was from Mrs. Tang. Mom? What's up? Tang Yin didn't know why her mother would call her at this time. Didn't she know that she was going out with Linny? Usually, her mother wouldn't bother her when she was on a date with Lin. Chapter 719. Saving her life, however, even though she didn't know much about mobile banking, she had often read about text fraud in newspapers. So, when Mrs. Tang received 3 million yuan out of nowhere, she was shocked. She didn't know what to do. It's here. Tang Yun paused. It's not a scam, it's Lin Yi's medical fees from Qibing Real Estate. Lin Yi's medical fees? That means it's real? Mrs. Tang was overjoyed. I'll go check the bank right now. I've never seen so much money in my life. Mrs. Tang was overjoyed. She had been worried about buying a house tomorrow, but now that she had 3 million, it was enough to buy any kind of house. Lin Yi was amazing. He broke Qibing's leg and didn't ask for medical fees. Instead, he asked for 3 million. Old Tang's leg was worth it. Tang Yun didn't say anything else and hung up. Tang Yun wasn't afraid of Meng Yao knowing that her family was poor, but she was afraid that they would laugh at her if they knew how greedy her mother was. Not long after Tang Yun received the call, Lin Yi received a call from Zihua. Lin Yi, I've transferred the money to the account you gave me. When can I save my brother? Zihua said straightforwardly. His relationship with Lin Yi was purely based on benefits. There was no need for pleasantries. Oh, I'll tell you how to save him. You can do it yourself. Lin Yi said casually. Just find a surgeon and cut off the flesh in a 2-centimeter radius around the needle. You'll be done with it. What? Cut off the flesh? Siwa's eyes widened when he heard Lin Yi's words. Are you messing with me? I'm not messing with you because of 3 million. Lin Yi said faintly. Tell my words to the doctor beside you. He'll know if I'm right or not. I don't have time to waste with you. This is the only way to save your brother's life. All right, I'll believe you for now. Sihua took a deep breath, suppressing his anger. Lin Yi didn't pay him any attention, hanging up the phone right away. It had been a long time since he'd been ignored like this. Even House Zhao wouldn't look down on him like this. But Sihua couldn't hold it against Lin Yi. It wasn't the first or second day he'd wanted to kill Lin Yi, and as long as he didn't kill him, he'd have to endure it. Sihua didn't dare delay and repeated Lin Yi's words to Yao Wang, only for Yao Wang to slap his forehead and exclaim, "Why didn't I think of that?" Since this true qi was not easy to get rid of, wouldn't it be better to just dig it up and throw it away? It's actually so simple. Sihua paused at Yao Wang's reaction. Does that mean that Lin Yi's idea will work? Yes, it's the only way to save Li Delay. Li Delay will have to suffer a little, but it's not a problem to keep his life, Yao Wang said. Is it possible that Lin Yi purposely used this cruel method because he had other methods? Sihua was suspicious. From his point of view, Lin Yi wouldn't say anything good. He would only say something bad. I don't think so. After all, it'll take a lot of effort to take back the true qi. Even if Lin Yi could do it, he wouldn't lower his strength for 3 million. Yao Wang shook his head. I'm afraid that Lin Yi hasn't fully recovered yet. He's only slightly stronger than Mr. Zhu. He won't risk his life to treat Li Delay. Even 300 million is impossible, let alone 3 million. Sihua felt much better after listening to Yao Wang's explanation. Since there was a solution, let's do it as soon as possible. Yushu laughed out loud after listening to Lin Yi and Sihua's solution. She felt that she and Shield Bro were fated to be together. They were both evil and didn't even blink when messing with people. Li Delay would probably be riddled with holes now. Meng Yao and Tang Yun also felt that it was satisfying. As long as he didn't kill anyone, it was fine to punish Li Delay. Lin Yi parked the car in front of the night market. When he stopped, he saw a few modified sports cars like Hyundai and Geely Jaguar. Lin Yi paused. It should be the people he met last time. Xiao Xiao was there, but now a familiar figure was missing. He didn't know what Xiaoxiao was doing in Yanjing. Why wasn't she back yet? When Xiaoxiao was here, Lin Yi was a bit annoyed by her, but now that she was gone, he would miss her without a deskmate. He even promised her that he would treat her to a meal. Those people didn't pay much attention to Lin Yi's beetle. It wasn't a sports car, and they weren't interested in racing with Lin. Evidently, they had forgotten about Lin. Lin Yi and Tang Yun walked at the back while the Miss and Yushu walked in front. The four of them entered the night market. Meng Yao and Yushu had never bought anything from the street stalls of the night market before. They'd always go straight for the street food when they came here before, and they'd never stopped here before. It was quite a sight to behold, and it was quite a bustling place. The clothes here are so pretty. It's the same as the latest designs from Hong Kong and Taiwan. They can't even be sold in the shops. Yushu looked at the clothes curiously. They're all imitations. The quality is way worse. The price is only 1/10 or even 1/100th of the original. Tang Yun saw that Yushu was excited as if she had found a treasure. She was afraid that Yushu would be tricked. I see. Yao Yao, why don't we buy two? Even if it's street stalls, people will think that we're buying the real thing. Yushu said. Tang Yun couldn't help but sigh. It was true. Even if Meng Yao and Yushu wore 10 Kuai street stalls, no one would believe them. But even if she wore the real thing, people would think that it was an imitation, right? Let's take a look then. Meng Yao was a little tempted. After all, many of the styles were new. The four came to a street stall that seemed to be of good quality. Tang Yun chose a pair of shorts for herself. Meng Yao and Yushu each chose a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. They asked for the price. It was 300 Kuai. The Miss and Yushu didn't know how much it was worth. Tang Yun didn't know how to bargain, so the job was left to Lin. Is it cheaper? Lin asked the owner. 208 is the lowest. The owner could see that Meng Yao and Yushu were rich, so he didn't lower the price too much.